Blame Bella. Sometimes we open up with a singing number here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special Hyperconscious Meets Conversations Change Lives podcast. We have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome guest today. Isabella Picard is on with us today. Isabella Picard has a great story, a great mindset. She's all about dealing with what you have and overcoming everything and no excuses. And Alan's here too, unfortunately.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Hyperconscious podcast meets Conversations Change Lives podcast. In the background here, we've got Hyperconscious Conversations Change Lives, which is the matchup.
Yes.
Bella, you are extraordinary. What I consider to be a real-life superhero. Overcoming challenges. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, guys. Bella Picard, former Division I college athlete, now adaptive athlete and thinker.
Thought leader.
Current badass.
For sure.
Current badass.
Current
That's
badass.
actually the title, yeah.
Right. I think we'll just go with that. And that's it. Have a good one.
All right. Nice talking, guys.
Kevin, you sent a screenshot of her Instagram profile to me saying
Yes.
we got to get her on the
Yeah,
podcast.
so
yeah, go ahead.
before this podcast was an idea, before this podcast was a thing, I stumbled across her profile, and it was one of her posts about her getting her motor skills back, like swinging. I think you were hitting balls to your dog in your backyard.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? Like, what's happening here? Because number one, most of the videos you see that a lot of people watch don't have that much value. It's usually a butt, just a picture of a booty, maybe.
Yeah, on the
Or
Instagram.
whatever. Right, and I'm not hating. I like booties just as much as the next guy.
Me too, but I don't got one.
But seeing you, like, that just spoke to me. And I told Alan, like, I feel, when we walked in here, I just felt warm. I felt very warm.
He literally said
Good.
that.
I feel like the energy is great.
love
And I
that.
always felt that about you. I always felt like I was going to talk to you before this was even a podcast.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Now we're doing it. Thoughts become things, as Kai Green says. And I just think you're super motivational. I think you're super amazing.
Thank you.
It really is an honor to sit down with somebody as great as yourself.
Sweet. You guys are great.
Yeah.
Should just carry you guys around like
Sure,
everywhere.
yeah.
Confidence booster.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad we made it work. That's
Yeah.
cool, though.
Yeah.
Warm. I like warm.
You're a very warm person.
Yeah, he
Good.
said that outside while drinking iced coffee.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Alan told me if I was drinking iced coffee, I wouldn't be as warm as an understanding.
Yeah.
And I basically told Alan
Bella's-
something not nice.
Bella brought the heat.
Yeah.
That's why I have warm tea. They've done studies about that. When you have iced coffee, you tend to be more cold.
true.
Have you heard of that?
We got to talk about
Yeah,
that
we
later.
will.
Yeah.
Love
I don't believe it.
it. So you are becoming somewhat of an inspirational speaker now.
Yes.
You said you've done a lot of speeches down in Florida.
Yes.
And people ask you to reach out and tell your story. You got potentially hit up by the Ellen Show as well.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Yes.
So what do you start with when you tell your story?
Basically, I've pretty much taken through the life-changing incident that happened, which was I broke my neck diving into second base in a Division I softball game playing against Fordham in the Bronx. And I was paralyzed on my right side, and talk about life-changing. So I pretty much, when I talk to people, I'm just like, I don't know, I kind of just feel what they want to know from it, because there's so many, aspects of life that I've seen change literally in just I say 2.3 seconds, because it took me 2.8 to get from home to first, and I'm thinking I was on first and probably took off, as the pitcher was
10-foot lead,
releasing.
yeah.
So I'm thinking I shaved,
Yeah.
So literally I tell people life can change in 2.3 seconds. If you're that fast, but no, I'm kidding. But
I
for
love
real,
your positive attitude about it.
When people say life can change in seconds, it's I have never been so familiar with that. I'm yeah, it's true. So yeah, I just I don't know. There's just so many aspects of life: appreciation, stillness. I've learned stillness. You guys have known me for a little over an hour, and I'm I just always have to be moving, and one thing all my friends and family said right after my accident was you out of all people,
Yeah.
you out of you're all. My niece who was 4 or 5 at the time, couldn't grasp why Auntie Bella, couldn't move. I learned stillness and how to tame the ADD in that aspect, and just learn to just observe. That's another thing that I like to talk about to athletes too, especially because I think it's just good for mental clarity. But yeah, like it's really a big.
You were next level. So like when you say like former athlete, like you weren't just an athlete though. Like you were you batted 900.
Yeah,
like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? It doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen ever.
And it's so funny because like I definitely give every ounce of credit to God and my parents and how they raised me because you know, if you know, I just remember being like 7 years old with my brother Julian just like whipping around on a JR50 motorcycle, going off jumps because we put a board on this big rock, and like guys, like we were going like very high in the air, and like I'm talking like probably head to that ceiling, like. And we're like just like little, and I'm like, check it, and like it was just like cool. But like if a kid were to do that nowadays, it would be videotaped and put on social media.
Oh,
but
yeah,
like
for sure,
to
they'd
us,
be on
that's
the own
normal.
show.
Like that, yes, exactly, right. But like
you're crazy.
Yeah, it's just like, but like yeah. So like that's I look back, I can look at my past now and realize that I guess I've just always had something extra that wouldn't have been used if what happened to me didn't happen, and that's definitely something that took like the first like year and a half of my recovery to like grasp and accept. So yeah,
I think you help everyone with perspective. Put their challenges into perspective. Last night my car broke down. I called my girlfriend, had her come pick me up, and I was out in the cold because it was overheating. I didn't want to be near it in case it caught on fire, and I took all my stuff out of it for this podcast, the lights and stuff like that. And I was sitting reading your article on your Instagram bio.
Cool.
So first, let's shout out your Instagram handle.
Handle, I like that.
Yeah, Isabella.
At Isabella Picard.
How do you spell the last name?
Picard. I'm in a spelling bee.
And so it's all one. It's all one.
All one, yeah.
All one word. No underscores or anything.
Picard, no underscores.
Simple. She's a simple one.
And in your bio, it has an article of that story.
Flow softball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm on my phone preparing for this interview, and I'm in the cold. My car just broke down.
Oh, you
and
I'm freezing.
Yeah, I was. I was kind of shaking and then I was like, you know what? This is not a problem. This is not a challenge.
Yeah.
you're going to be fine, Alan. Just perspective, is so critical.
Infinite.
And I think gratitude to me is the most powerful emotion we can feel because I think the opposite of fear is gratitude, being grateful for what you have. And I think that you've experienced something far beyond any of us could even fathom when it comes to being told you'll never walk again or you'll never play sports again, which was your everything.
Yeah.
What can you give to other people that you think will help them put their challenges in perspective?
I think that's cool. Yeah. Kind of like what we were talking about before, how the perspective I've learned of the human body is crazy because I have never realized that the mind, we can't see our brains, right? That would be cool if we could. Like a weird jellyfish, you can like see through like their fluorescent.
Here we go.
I love it.
And she's off.
Yeah.
No, but like we can't see our brains, but we know it's in there because we just know.
Yeah.
And we have a heart. I feel it pumping through my throat all the time. And it's what keeps us alive. That's good. So there's the heart, there's the mind, and then there's something else, conscience, you know? AKA your soul.
Yes.
I truly believe soul. You can't just not have a name for something that is always talking to you.
Yeah.
And then the fourth is the body. So I finally have learned that the mind, the heart, the soul is like the engine, and that's supposed to be portrayed through the body. So like the body is like the social media to your picture. Like, that,
great analogy.
that you
I should have done an
already-
edible before this episode. I should have done an edible for sure.
I'm like, I got some at home.
So I always say the true north thing that I showed you earlier
Yeah.
in the preamble, I always say mind, body, heart, and soul.
Yes.
In congruency to one true north.
Yes.
You
That's cool.
are amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like, but that perspective of that I learned, and I'll never forget it. It was just I was laying in my hospital bed. It was after like a solid first, like when you're just getting like kind of in your routine swing of things, and like you finally have the one day where it's like, okay, that was like how I want it to go.
Okay.
You know, I had like 3 of my sessions. I had a great lunch. Like it was just great.
Yeah.
And I remember just laying there at the end of the day, just me, because I kind of like pushed my family out. I didn't want them to see me in that condition at all. And I just remember being like, what do I have? Because I wasn't an athlete. I wasn't.
Anymore, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
anymore. I wasn't the muscled up girl anymore because I literally could see my body changing. Like my right hand just it just looked lifeless. Like
Talk about fighting with your identity.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And
identity
it's such a
crisis.
radical. We all struggle with change.
That's
the
another thing I touch upon when I talk to people is
This was dramatic.
identity loss. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. The worst was I love food, like Nutrageous bars, Reese's, Holler, and like
My
all
favorite
these.
candy.
And then I
Yes.
remember thinking in that bed, like, I can't even eat a Nutrageous bar or a Reese's right now because I had just had the surgery and I was getting like super deep into it. And I was like, so what do I have left? And then I was like, wait, I'm talking to myself. Wait, that's my soul. Wait, oh my gosh. And I realized that literally all we are is a thought, like an expression. And like, that's where like my perspective of I guess exactly what you were saying. Like it's just infinite now. It's like
Interesting.
It's really weird. It does trip you out a little bit.
So
You don't even need an edible.
Are you a big reader?
Huge reader now, and
Okay.
I used to be afraid of books.
Oh, yeah. So I was the guy who was bragging about, I got a master's degree without ever reading a book. Not something to brag about, Alan. 22-year-old Alan, what are you doing? But The Untethered Soul is a book that one of my heroes, Tony Robbins, recommends. Oh, yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to burp. You can do that right into the
not
mic,
gonna do
right
it
into the
into the-
microphone. We're not shy.
Do whatever you want.
They just creep up. I just want to let you guys know they like literally creep up and they just
let 'em fly.
Let him
All
out.
right.
Let
Yeah,
him
no,
fly.
seriously.
Yeah, better out
I'm
than
like, in that
You
case.
want to burp right to the microphone? Burp right to the
Yeah, yeah.
microphone. I don't care.
All right, good. Yeah, but keep going.
We fear no judgment here.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, The Untethered Soul, I'm going to send you a screenshot of
leave
that
it a
book.
I would love that.
You would love that book because you've experienced on a real level what that book is really trying to say,
That's
which is
cool.
being the observer from an outside perspective
That's
of your
cool.
situation and realizing that you are larger than any challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Really cool. Just the fact that we're like here, like, oh my gosh, if you really want to get into the whole like conception thing, like we're here, like we were given, like that to me is so cool. Like
Yeah.
that's what I tell people, you know, who are down on themselves in life, you have depression, like anxiety. It's like take a step back, and if you want to look at it from like such a big picture,
yeah.
if you're a bird in the sky and you don't know what all these people with 2 legs are doing around, but they're like, oh, there's one of those things with 2 legs. It's like they pointed at you. Like they pointed at you. Like,
Interesting.
and you're looking at them saying, wow, bird, yeah, they matter because they're here.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just weird.
We're all connected.
Yes, exactly.
We're all connected.
For sure.
Everything's an expression from
And
that
it's-
one life.
It's
Yeah.
so awesome that this, like, me and Alan knows I've been struggling with my job and, like, I've been struggling hardcore lately. So I travel a lot for work. I'm always gone. I have things, I have passions, I have dreams that I want to accomplish, but I'm never home to do them. Like last night, I got invited by the coach of the best Muay Thai team in Worcester to go train. Like, hey, do you want to come train in an hour?
What?
And I'm like, no, not
Yeah.
really, because I'm scared. Like, I'm scared.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm scared. I did it. I went and did it because I have great people surrounding me that make me do things that they know I need
Oh,
to
that's
do.
awesome.
I have great people surrounding me.
He
I'm
came
very,
up to me
very-
and Matt and was like,
Yeah.
I just got offered this. And Matt was like, dude, you got to do it.
Right.
You're going to
Almost
regret it
in
if
like
you
a-
don't. Yeah.
He apologized later. He's like, I wasn't being a dick, but like it was almost in like a dickhead, like,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
you're
done.
an idiot if you don't do this.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I needed. But
Exactly.
sitting down with you and seeing how positive you are
Right?
makes me feel like, why am I even complaining?
Yeah.
I make good money doing what I do,
It's true though.
but
Yeah.
how did you didn't have that, right? Like you were you. You
Right.
didn't have to. You didn't get to look at you like
That's
I'm looking at
cool.
you. So how did you get through the? I'm sure there was so many dark moments right after it happened.
3 that I specifically remember.
Can
yes.
you touch on them?
Yes, absolutely. It was a 3 times throughout this whole thing where I literally said to myself, okay, this is it. This is my condition. I have my chair. I have like, you know, like there was only 3 times, and then each time my my bounce back was quicker. So like the first time I remember it lasted all day. Like all day. I'll never forget it. It was mashed potatoes and turkey that day for lunch, and I was like, at least this is good. But like I just remember being like, this sucks. And then the next time it happened was a month into rehab, and I let it get to me again. Yeah. And keep in mind, at this point, a month into my recovery, I started getting some, wiggling in my hand. And so that keeps, we never realize how much our body distracts us and what our like soul is trying to make us think about and reflect on. So that clearly was, those 3 moments were crucial. And to be honest with you, I probably should have had more, but I let, my body, even though it, in the recovery, just seeing like a finger move, it's like, okay, that's all I'm going to think about for the rest of, and like, it's so crazy how like, I just had to relearn, that whole, just like I said, just stillness and realizing it. And then the 3rd time I bounced back so quick, I literally let the thought slip into my head and I was like, nope, bye. Nope. Like, right. Because I realized that I hadn't been moping around or, feeling sorry for the majority of this recovery. And at the time I was making some pretty sweet gains. Yeah. And I remember being like, not that I'm like superstitious, but I'm like, since I haven't been like thinking about like the like reality of this right now, I'm like, and I went through like 4 psychologists, like through the rehab. They automatically, they give patients like a psychologist, whatever, and
mind body. Which I'm glad they're doing that because it's more mental than physical.
However, I think there's too many people who are psychologists that they could probably find a better career where they would use their skills, because I just couldn't vibe with any of them. I really couldn't, and they kept telling me, denial is the first phase, and I'm like,
they have to know where you're at.
Yeah, and not only that, but like I was telling them like, my faith, I was telling literally what I'm talking to you two about, like I was like in the process of realizing. So just like when a little kid, their little kid's pet dies, like they're gonna like just for like months talk to their parents like in denial about like, remember, like talk about the animal because that's how they're dealing with it. And like when I was coming to such new life beginning realizations, it was to these psychologists and
they were trying to rush the process.
I feel like they were trying to take everything they learned in school about how to listen to people, and they weren't like actually listening to me. So like a bit of advice that they could have given me could have been great if they just customized it to me.
You're not a normal person.
Right. And like I was just telling them, like, oh, my hope is just that, like I finally realized I have a soul that I can't see, but I know it's there because I'm me and I talk to myself all the time and I know that everyone else does. So there has to be something there, but we can't see it. And I'm realizing that. And she'd be like there's 4, 1 guy, 3 girls, and every single one of them were like, denial is the first.
Interesting. Yeah. Rather than like letting you express.
Yeah. And I remember being like, you know what? Go. I'm like, you know what? You're kicked out.
Good
like,
for you. Good for you.
Yeah, because I was just like, at least, even
let you express yourself.
Yeah, and it was weird, but so like back to like you saying, because you're you, and how did you see it all? It literally was just realizing that the most important things in life are unseen: the brain, the heart, the soul. The body's the only thing we see, and I realize how unimportant it is.
Oh, we focus on it way too much. I always say, get the mind right, the body will follow. Like. That's my whole thing.
Your feet will never head in any direction your mind wasn't already going. That's the coolest part. Yeah, that's the coolest part is like your feet literally. And I actually learned that quote, like right in the beginning of my accident. I was pissed because I'm like, what feet? I was like, because I like, but it's so true that it means your feet as in your body. Yeah. And our bodies are such a distraction. It's a selfish distraction.
Ralph Waldo Emerson, his essays are phenomenal. If you're a reader, you will love it. Transcendentalist, you already kind of are. I consider you a philosopher.
Yes, I'm very into
you've become that way, I think. Mm-hmm. Once you weren't able to express yourself through your body as much, I think your mind is probably far.
I've had to use analogy.
Yeah, for sure. So he has a quote. He says, the ancestor to every action is a thought.
That's cool.
So what you think about
Yeah.
will determine how you behave. How you behave consistently will create your habits.
Exactly.
And your habits will create your results, which will feed back into your identity.
Habits are everything.
Habits are everything. Thought habits, though. People think of habits as like, oh, I drink water or I don't, or I drink alcohol and I don't. It's like, no, habits are like the way you think.
It's
like
so
you're
true.
so optimistic. It's crazy.
And then that can bring me right into nutrition and diet. It's like, man, like, I mean, I eat pretty clean, I must say, but it's not because like I go out of my way to do it. It's just I've become so in tune with my body and
you
just
feel better.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, I need a bag of refrigerated spinach so I can eat it like potato chips. Like, I just like will crave it, and it literally
Lifts
it reflects. It reflects on just every.
Well,
day.
it's like it's almost like you are doing everything possible.
Yep.
Like in your head,
Yeah.
it's like I'm eating healthy, I'm doing extra
Exactly.
rehab.
Yeah.
So in your head, you should be getting better.
Exactly.
And that's why you are. Like that's why you are improving.
I like that you say that because, you know, a lot of people will, you know, come to, oh my gosh, the messages I've read and just people I talk to, they'll be like, you know, like, I work so hard in the gym and I don't give up. I just never see good results. And my first thing I say back to them, I'm like, what's your nighttime routine? Do you like baths?
Yeah.
What kind of tea do you drink?
Interesting.
Like, do you drink pH water or not? Like,
yeah.
like just like random stuff that they're like,
they weren't even aware of.
and then not only that, it doesn't even matter what that conversation like entails because I know that they're not being fully reflective with me. Just the vibe and the energy, and it's like it's not like I'm like screw you. It's just like no, I would like to be that mirror for people now.
Yeah,
because like
what they're not seeing, maybe.
Yeah.
Tim Grover was Michael Jordan's trainer. He wrote a book called Relentless. I always shout this book out. He basically did an interview and he said, you got to look in the mirror and you got to assess where you're at. Yes, but a lot of the things that are holding you back are what you don't see in the mirror. Someone else can show you that. Like, for example, like maybe someone never thought about the tea they drink or whether or not they're getting spinach and all that kind of stuff.
Just random, like, everything's infinite. And I think I've gotten good at finding out of all the infinite things I've realized so far, I'm really good now at, like, categorizing, like, the important and the infinite things that I'm glad I knew for a little bit. But, you know, like, bye. It's just, good
Who's
stuff.
your favorite author?
Favorite author.
And or favorite book and why?
Well, favorite book is the Book of Life, Bible. I mean, talk about philosophy.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh my, because I mean, I'm sorry, I must say, like, the Bible is so cool. Genesis, Old Testament, like, I find it interesting because I'm the most curious person in the world, and I think that's how, like, a lot of just my, like,
expansion.
Yes, I'm just so curious, and I'm 22 years old, gonna be 23 in June. It wasn't until
mind-blowing.
I'm a baby. I know. I literally am. I know, but it's crazy.
Yeah, but you're not like
I said, I feel like a grandma all the time. Like, everyone sit. Like, who wants tea?
That's not a coincidence.
It's like, I've written 3 books.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, which be on the lookout.
Yeah.
But but like for real, it's I forget what we were talking about because now I'm thinking about tea.
I just like, you know, people always say it's like someone's going through something worse.
Yes.
Honestly, you went through, I think, most people's biggest fear.
Yes.
Which is not even death necessarily, but being incapable of being you, expressing you.
I love that you said that.
So when everyone's like, oh, well, someone's always had it worse, like, think of that. How were you able to? Did you have any? Like,
I like that you said that because the first time I ever heard someone say that, like someone has it worse, was from Eric LeGrand. Have you guys
I read about him in the article.
Eric LeGrand, oh my gosh, such a savage, the most just
I love
amazing person. He was he played football for Rutgers and broke his neck going in for a tackle and he's a quadriplegic now, but now he's partnered with the Christopher Reeves Foundation, Team LeGrand. Like, I mean, he's amazing, and I connected.
Speaker now?
Yep, he speaks. He's from New Jersey.
Let's
Such
make
a
him
good
part
dude.
of the network.
Yeah, you really should.
Come on, Rick.
Yes.
No, he is the man, and he's the first person when I connected through him through social media. It's crazy. I was actually following him before my accident. And
Wow.
I like honestly didn't, because we were on
Didn't
a
connect the
social
dots
media
until
ban
afterwards?
for
Okay.
softball. Like we weren't allowed to like post
Interesting.
a lot. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But I followed him like in the summer before my accident, and I just didn't go on it enough to really see him post a lot. So like when I was in the hospital, like finally like had a lot of time to be doing that.
Yeah.
Eric LeGrand like posted, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I connected with him, and that's his main message is like, someone always has it worse. So appreciate
Appreciation,
and just
gratitude.
put in the work with what you have. And,
Yeah.
And
Do what you can with
I
what you have.
needed to talk about a mirror. Like
Yeah.
that to me was just, I don't know. It was just unbelievable because like he showed me what like support is like, and I never felt it in that way or saw it. Like Eric's support system is unreal, and it's because of who he is and like how like
Leading by example.
yes. So like a lot of me in my recovery just wanted to stay quiet, put my head down and work, because that's the kind of athlete I always was. Like head down, do
Yeah.
your job the best you can, and that's it. But I realized with this journey, it's like I have to show people what Eric is saying is like, yeah, like someone else can have it worse, but they're still grinding, and like
Right.
you know, it's
So
cool.
Kevin and I were talking on the way here, and last night I had a moment where, so as you know, whenever you put yourself out there, you tell your story, sometimes you're going to get people who disagree,
Oh,
quote
of
unquote
course.
haters type of thing.
haters.
And Kevin and I were talking on the way here because so you had that, I feel like we've all had that person who, when we were in our darkest moment, really helped lift us out of it. For you, it was Eric. For me, it
Eric,
was
yeah.
actually Dwayne Johnson. For Kevin, I don't know if you have one. I'm sure you do.
Still in the dark moment.
Oh, okay. So hopefully that'll be us.
Yeah.
I know,
But
right?
what I find crazy is like I've been going through a lot lately with people kind of laughing at what I do or maybe saying I'm redundant. I've been going through some changes. I think it takes a lot of courage to stay true to who you are, to express yourself. I always say it's better to have expressed and been laughed at than never to have expressed at all. And last night I got a message that basically said, and I'll keep it private because I always do in terms of names, anonymous, but they basically said, my husband and I just lost our son, and you posted on Facebook that day. I do Twitter memes of excerpts from my book and things.
I don't think you should call them memes, because I think memes,
What is
like I think they people think negatively about memes.
Okay, well, so memes is actually derived from the word memetics, which is
Okay.
you got
I
genetics and
shouldn't have done this.
memetics.
I shouldn't have done this.
No,
Okay,
no,
so-
no.
I regret you wrote this.
I agree
Okay,
with you
okay.
because I think of meme and I think of like a
Yeah,
weird
okay.
Walmart thing.
Okay, well then I should say
Like a screenshot?
excerpts of
Excerpts.
expression. So I tweet
Oh, okay,
something from my
cool.
book, like a
Cool.
quote. I'll say a quote, and then I'll screenshot it,
Oh,
and then I'll
that's
post
cool.
that. Yeah, and so
Wow.
she had said to me that in her darkest moment, that spoke to her and helped get her through.
Wow.
And we talked a bit, and I basically said that now knowing that will help me stay on my path, because
Exactly.
honestly, all the haters are irrelevant when it goes to that person who needs to hear it.
Right.
Eric pulled you out. I had someone there to pull me out. You are now someone who can do that for others.
Exactly. I call it the Mario Kart speed bump effect.
Interesting.
Yeah, you guys ever play Mario Kart?
Hell yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you hit like the little rainbow stripe, and you're just like,
Yeah.
and then you go fast for like a little bit until you kind of slow down a bit, and then there's another one ahead, and then that's
That
like
is the coolest
I
analogy ever.
always
Right.
think of those things like when I feel myself kind of coming down off the like
Off
the
the
bump
boost.
I got last. Yeah, but literally I'm like, oh man, and then just the universe does its thing, and
So, there's a lot of people talk about PTSD,
Yes.
post-traumatic stress disorder, but
yes,
I
know
don't
that
think enough
very
people.
well. Yeah.
I don't think enough people talk about post-traumatic growth.
whoa,
So I told you that I had 2 life or death situations
Yes.
prior to leaving corporate America, chasing my
Yes.
dreams, leading by example, trying to be one of those people
Yeah.
where that was a dream come true last night. Knowing that someone was going through their hardest time and
That's
that my words was able to touch them in
Yeah.
the moment that they needed it was everything.
that's why I post.
Yeah, same.
It's the only reason.
It's the only reason. Yeah, and being that person for someone else is everything.
So true.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, I personally had claustrophobia. I had trouble walking through doors. I had personal space issues. Like, it probably would have bothered me for you to go like that. Now you're doing it a
Really?
lot. Yeah.
He's like, hey, don't touch me.
I got no. We're good now.
Okay,
yeah, 100%. And I've worked on it. you know, because I had real issues. I remember talking to my sister, like, I'm struggling to walk through doors. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me, all this stuff. I got in a bad car accident. I also got jumped at Providence Place Mall by a schizophrenic who forgot to take his medicine. This was all within a couple months. I had a mental breakdown in my car saying, I'm quitting my job. I'm changing my life. I'm giving a second chance.
Wow.
So you've obviously been there to way more challenges than I've been through. I wasn't even hurt in the car accident. I just know I could have been. It was a head-on collision up in New Hampshire with my cousin.
That's crazy.
I could have, you know, it was my mistake too. So that's hard because it was my fault,
Right.
entirely my fault. But fortunately, no one was hurt, right? And so I definitely had a lot of post-traumatic stress stuff going on for sure, because our central nervous system associates trauma to whatever was going on around us.
Right.
So now for a while, double yellow lines bothered me for a while. I would like stay on highways, didn't bother me, but
amazing.
yeah. And so, but the post-traumatic growth from that, I started reading books. I started researching people that were next level leaders, and it changed my whole life.
But why? Because you say why that happened.
Because you made the choice to do it.
Right.
To do something about it.
You figured if I died right now,
Yeah.
I would have accomplished nothing I wanted. Like I didn't live my purpose.
Exactly. So Brendan Burchard, I got to pronounce his name correctly. He's one of my favorite authors. He wrote a book called High Performance Habits. We're all high performers in here, honestly. Like you in your athletics, obviously a high performer. So he goes through what he calls the HP6, which are 6 habits of thoughts and things, disciplines that make you just ridiculously good at what you do.
I love discipline.
Yeah, me too. So he says this. He says, and I told you this in the preamble, he got in a life or death ATV accident, and he said, did I live? Did I love? And did I matter? And when I got jumped and had that car crash, the answers were not, I was not pleased with my answers.
Right.
Now I am pleased with my answers. He asks himself that every night for the last 17 years.
Cool.
Yeah, I journal every night as well. So I have my own questions, but I encourage everyone out there to really ask themselves those things. Like, did I live?
Yeah.
Did I love? And did I matter?
I like that because it's like a template in how you can self-reflect, and I think that's especially our generation's biggest
Problem.
flaw is we cannot self-reflect anymore. And I was the biggest victim of that before my accident. Is
So why do you think that is?
because our body is a distraction.
Yeah.
And it sounds like pretty like, broad, but no, think about every aspect of your life where your body hasn't been like a key factor into completing or
You need to go to the float tank.
Yes, I know, seriously.
We are going.
have
We're
to
going to the float tank.
float
Yep.
Boston.
We got to set a date before we leave this room.
Yes, we will. And
No,
I
for
will
sure.
bring us there for sure.
We
Which-
need to do the early bird though.
The early bird special?
It's I think it's 7 to 10. Yeah, 7 to 10.
Oh, yeah,
We
we'll
are
do
early
it.
birds
Half price.
for sure.
We're early birds for
Yep.
sure.
I love early.
The early
and I
bird
love
gets the
birds.
worm.
We'll do it for sure.
But the
But
second
sorry
mouse
to
gets
interrupt.
the
Go ahead.
cheese.
I
I knew she'd like that. Yes. I made it funny, Kevin. I'm learning. Yeah.
Soon I will be useless.
I forget.
So you said distractions from the body and that kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Yes. Because so for instance, here's the one example I can think of right off the bat is how I used to do push-ups before showering, before bed. Actually, I got out of bed last night to do 10 because I didn't. So it's stuff like, it's even those things. So I used to have to do 55 push-ups before showers. Throughout college, like that was it. In high school, it was like 45 or something.
Wow.
But and then, right? So now I find myself, as I get older, I get frustrated or like mad because I don't even know what I was mad about, like looking back at it. But working out
Perspective.
was my thing.
Yeah.
Working out was my like sanctuary.
Clearly,
like,
you were.
Yeah.
you
yeah,
were killing
and
it.
I like
Yeah.
had muscles in my ears, but like, but that was my thing, and all of a sudden during the time of my life where I need that outlet the most to be able
to
to
express
just,
yourself.
I can't.
Yeah.
I'm paralyzed. So like, that's what I mean by the body being a distraction in ways that we don't even realize it. I mean, I always thought taking anger or frustration or confusion or just like, ugh, I can't even, like taking that out physically, just, kicking a soccer ball around or just, just working out, doing total body day, like just whatever. I always thought that was like a good outlet,
Yeah.
but it's not.
So is that only if you only do that? So there should be a balance, right? Because I don't
That's
think
the thing. The
I think it's a
balance I
tool,
lacked.
but
I lacked the
the
balance
balance.
so bad.
because you were all just that expression.
Yes.
You didn't express yourself mentally and emotionally
And
as
not
much.
only that, but think about in this aspect. I love to write. You journal. I mean, like,
I love to write as well. It's amazing.
so now I never did really like to write.
Yeah.
Actually, wicked cool story about that.
Do it
For sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's super weird.
We
We're
look
ready.
weird.
Pretty much.
We're getting weird.
Pretty much, yeah. Things are
going
getting
deep.
weird. Yeah, no, for real. This is like goosebump material. I can show you a picture after of the journal, but
Let's do it.
so right before my spinal fusion, I don't keep in mind I came right from the softball field, so like I don't know if the coaches or teammates just gave my parents my stuff, and that's what I had throughout the hospital. And I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, first of all, can you shave my legs? Because they were hairy. And I had a crush on my doctor. And I was like, and secondly, I was like, can you get my chapstick in my bag?
Yeah.
So she's going, and she opens up the bag, and she pulls out this purple journal and starts hysterically laughing because old Bella, I wouldn't even pick up my pen to write my name down on a paper. Like, she was like, "Is this a journal?" And I was like, "No, what?" And she's like, "Well, there's something written in it." 4 pages dated. The first page dated April 17th, 2015, and I wrote 4 pages to myself, literally saying I was going through a rough time, and I said, something bad, every bad things are going to happen to you, Bella. I wrote this to myself. And I said, I'm on the bus right now going to Fordham. We're playing, Fordham. And I was previously verbally committed to Fordham before I committed to St. Joe's. So, I was just writing about how, pumped and excited I was to finally, because everyone wants to be able to play in front of the coach that,
Right.
missed it. But, I wrote all about it. I wrote about the sky and just how sunsets are so important to me. And I wrote, you need to watch every sunset you can. And I said, right now we're passing through New York City, and it's amazing how all the buildings wreck it. They wreck what I know the sky looks like. And
Interesting.
and then I signed it, Bella Picard, and then I went P.S. F Fordham, be, because I was pumping myself up for the game.
No shit.
And I found it the day before the scariest time of my life, my spinal fusion, and I'll show you after this is over. I'll show it to you. Unfortunately, that journal got lost from moving back into school the year after, the fall after my accident, and got lost. But
Which again, we
I
talked
took
about
pictures.
the material things.
Yes, and
Yeah,
that
so you
is
have to let
another. I
go.
was going to use that as an example when we were talking, but it's just the pre-story is just it's just unreal. But
It is
yeah,
unreal.
when I lost, but I took pictures of it. Thank God. Just to be able to reread, and it's literally a letter to myself that
You got this.
yes, and then want to know the weirdest
This is
part?
next level.
Wanna know
This
the-
is next
Do you
level.
want to know the weirdest part?
Of course.
Yeah.
I get to rehab after my spinal fusion. Guess what the name of my room was? The Sunset Room. Because it was the one room in the building that, in the floors below me too, that had a perfect view of just, west.
Next level.
Jesus.
So so anyways, my point is
How could you not have? Interesting.
writing was never a thing for me, but apparently it was that day. I remember calling or texting my roommate and teammate and best friend at the time and being like, what was I doing on the bus? Was I writing? And I had a few teammates be like, yeah, you don't remember? You're making fun of you. Bella's doing her homework. Because I was usually up farting on everyone. Just being wicked annoying.
Being an
And
athlete,
I was, and I wrote in it, I'm sitting crisscross applesauce, just staring out the coach bus window. And
At a sunset?
Yeah. Just
shit.
cruising through New York City. We were almost there. It was Friday right before doubleheader Saturday. And
Interesting.
yeah. So, but my
crazy,
point is
right?
I didn't start writing until I had to learn how to use my right hand again. And I literally just, that's how it has evolved. And now I think if I were to, have to go through something like that again where my body's unable to function, or if I were to just break this wrist or something, I would be a little bit flustered, because that is my escape now.
Yeah.
And that's why I say in order to write, you need a body to do it.
Yeah.
And that outlet shouldn't be your one and only outlet, because God forbid you
lose it.
sprain a finger.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Even that, it's like, oh my gosh, are you gonna like go nuts for 3 weeks until it heals?
I have a quote that I wrote on a it's a picture of me, my last photo shoot a year ago, and it says the suppression of self-expression leads to depression.
Whoa, I like that.
I knew you would.
And it's so true. Too.
Yeah, it's so
It's
true.
so true.
We got to express ourselves, and so many of us aren't because we're afraid of judgment.
Right.
Yes, everyone's trying. I mean, look at I mean,
You got to be able to
Hollywood.
be you. Oh, I know.
That's what it is. Social media. It's everyone's always comparing
Yeah.
to what's hot or what's, and people will deny that. I mean,
Yeah.
but
They'll pretend they're not.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
or
the
they'll
first
get
thing they do
Upset about it because they are.
right,
Yeah.
and like I noticed just in my recovery, since I've just haven't had the time to really care about like outfits and like makeup and stuff.
yeah.
Not that I ever did, but like I used to actually
the
like
more shallow, superficial,
Right.
face value things.
right.
Yeah.
I
And-
definitely admire that about you.
I do too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, but you'll be surprised, since, just during my recovery, just doing events, things that I do, I don't care, but I laugh at how many people will like be like, oh my gosh, your outfits are so funny. Like, or like just
As
whatever.
if that matters at all.
Right. And I'm just, and
Like,
I
at all.
I literally will just smile and be like, thanks. Like,
I
Yeah,
knew you were gonna wear what you wore today, for sure, because that's what you wear in your videos.
yes, it literally is. I have-
And you're just you.
Right. It's the
I
thing.
love
Like
that.
when I see a profile, and this is a weird thing, but
Let's go.
No, hit
like
me with it.
We're getting
I
weird.
See, I
Weird.
see an Instagram profile, and I'm like, what is that person really like?
Yes.
Like you're a public figure. You have a lot of followers on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you're like, I wonder
61.7
I
thousand.
wonder if when I
Wow,
meet
really?
them, yeah, a lot.
I know numbers.
I wonder if when I'm gonna meet them, if I'm gonna be let down.
Yeah.
Like, what if I meet them and they're just not who they were?
Artificial.
And
yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
you pull up in your car.
Oh, killing
We
it.
ran over, gave
gave
each
you
other
a
hugs,
hug.
boom,
Yeah.
we're in.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that though, because
You're so
that's something I've realized
Yeah.
too, is because the more public figures I've just networked with, I meet them and I'm like, whoa.
There's
Like,
always more than meets the eye. Not
Yeah.
just with people, but in life, in
but hopefully
everything.
in a good way.
Oh yeah, hopefully.
Exactly.
Right?
It's sometimes
good
it's
way.
good, sometimes it's
Right.
bad. I think that's expectation, right?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
trade your expectation in for appreciation, your whole life becomes a miracle. Have you ever heard that one? From
no,
Tony
but
Robbins?
I really
T-Robs.
like that.
Yeah.
No, I just started, like literally just listened to a podcast the other day with him and some Roy guy who like is good with money. I don't know.
Some Roy guy.
Just
Shout out to some Roy guy.
I'm just
Well,
trying to just broaden my my
love it.
information.
I have a
flowing
question
in.
for you.
Yes.
Was quitting ever an option? Because this is something that I'm not against certain quotes, but one of the quotes that a lot of people say is quitting isn't an option. Chael Sonnen is a fighter, MMA fighter. He had a quote, I'm going to butcher it, but it was basically along the lines of, people say quitting's not an option all the time. It is the easiest option at any given time. When you're struggling, how easy is it just to quit? It's the easiest thing. It's the easiest option every single time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Was that ever even an option for you? Like, you know what? They said I'm going to be like this forever. I guess that's it.
Kevin always asks people, why didn't you quit?
I want to know that.
Yeah.
So
Because so many
that's
people do.
cool
So many people
because
do,
the
yeah.
way I just naturally perceive that question is equivalent to you asking a smoker of 30 years, it's so easy to quit.
Right.
So I think that, is quitting an option? That's such a broad motto, I guess. What phrase? Inspirational. I like it, but if
Quitting
you want
isn't quitting isn't an option. Is the inspirational?
yeah,
part?
like what you said,
Right.
like quitting isn't an option, or quitting is, I don't know, but it depends on like the content of what are you quitting. So, for instance, a smoker, right, who smokes 3 packs a day, say, it's like quitting. Quitting isn't an option, but then that's encouraging him to keep smoking.
Right.
But then if
Yeah.
you use it as,
Which, by the way, they'll tell you,
Motivation.
I can't quit. That's crap. Of course you can.
but then
it's whether or not you will.
think of it now, remove the smoker guy, put Bella there with a glove and a softball and a leg brace and a cleat on her left foot, but can't get the cleat on the right. And it's like, I say in that situation in the beginning of my recovery, I know, like, I can't quit. I'm
Right.
sorry. But you being like, well, Bella, why don't you quit? Like, just, find something else. And I couldn't see that. So where I see quitting, I hate that word. I don't know if it's
Look,
the way it sounds.
never quit.
Like quit. Oh, I like
Yeah,
that.
that's my motto. I'm never quit kid on Instagram.
Never
Like,
quit.
I take a beating and I keep coming. That's
I
how I am.
That shows me that you know the content of
Yeah,
your life, and I
sure.
love that.
I always loved that Instagram handle. Never quit kid. I
Never
always
quit, kid.
loved it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But only if it's what your heart's telling you.
Right. So
Yeah,
when
if
you
it's your
say
true
that,
north.
why I had to eliminate so many things in order to realize what I wasn't giving up on.
Yeah. You had to quit a lot
Right.
of things.
Yes,
Right. Yeah,
exactly.
But you also knew what not to quit.
Right.
How do we differentiate?
What's instinctual and what's natural as opposed to what do you know from experience?
Two scenarios, right? Person A and person B.
I'm
Person
gonna close that
B-
window a little bit.
Okay.
You guys good?
Yeah.
Please do. It is a little cold in here. So person B is Bella, who knows that softball is something she should not quit in your
Right.
heart. Person A is someone who thinks they can't quit cigarettes.
Right.
How do we differentiate between those two for people?
That's such a
I hear
Let's talk
people
about
tell
it.
me they can't all the time. Can't is my least favorite word.
I hate it. I hate it.
Anyone can, but not everyone will.
Right.
I like that, and you know, one of my best friends who I've met in my recovery, we were actually in the hospital together, Meredith. Oh my gosh,
What's up, Meredith?
What's up,
Hey,
Meredith?
Meredith, we'd love to
yeah,
meet you.
she's end piano violence is her hashtag because she actually had a piano like dropped on her trying to move it, and yeah, talk about
What?
and so we really connected because like the way an accident happens is it plays into your recovery,
And it's
you
hard
know?
to make sense of something
Yeah.
so
random.
Random,
And
yeah.
especially I always say, do you know how many shortstops I've dove into?
oh yeah.
Oh my
Right,
gosh,
right.
so many.
'Cause
Like
all of those
it's
things
just-
have to align for that to happen. When I was, and I
Yep.
don't want to make it about me by any means. We'll get right back.
No, keep
I
going.
know. I just
Told
want
you
you
this
to
was
know.
gonna happen.
No, yeah, I want you to know that I feel you.
yes.
I was jumped. We were at
Yeah.
a kiosk at Providence Place Mall, me and my buddy on a Sunday night. We're not out at the bar. We're not drinking. We're not
Right.
being rowdy. Sunday night,
Wrong
there's little
place,
kids
wrong
around.
time.
See? We watched a movie on a Sunday night. We're paying for parking, and I get jumped from behind. And when I saw this guy's eyes, I knew one of two things. He's trying to kill me for sure. Trying to kill me. You can tell in someone's eyes. He either is part of a gang and thinks I'm someone I'm not, or he's crazy.
Yeah.
Turns out he was crazy.
Right.
So I ran. I booked it out of there. He ended up kicking the shit out of my buddy. I went back to try to help him. Someone pulled the fire alarm, so he got out of there. And then he told the cops that we tried to kill him. He was having a psychotic
right.
break. So I didn't know how to make sense of that. That's when I started going to the gym.
Wow.
I had a gym membership the next day. I don't tell people that, but I
That's
should
cool.
because
Yeah,
it was
you should.
post-traumatic growth. I didn't know how to make sense of it. Like I could have died. If he had a knife, I would be
Right.
dead. For
Right.
sure. If he had a knife. No
That
no
is
question.
amazing. Look, I see, I get goosebumps.
Whenever something bad happens, we want meaning in it. We want to know, what does this mean and what can I do about it?
That's very.
I didn't know what to
very
do. All I
interesting.
knew is if that ever happens again, I'm going to be huge.
Wait, that is amazing. That is actually that is so amazing because I can relate to that in the sense where like opposite, like oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to totally rely on my mind to get me through the rest of my life. So let's beef this thing up.
Right.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
you
yeah.
are.
I don't know how long
And
this
you
is gonna
have.
last,
You
like
have.
for
Yeah,
real.
and you are.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so like yeah, that's really.
Would you ever have done this if you were like going to a baseball or softball game later? You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Probably this never
She'd
would
be
have
doing
happened.
push-ups before the shower.
Exactly.
You know?
I'd be like, God, I need to get 100 down first.
Which, by the way, she'd be up with her feet up against the wall.
No, I'm gonna try
doing
this.
handstand
I know, right?
push-ups,
Try those
which
before
I don't
we
even know
leave.
if I could do. When I saw that, I was like,
I
whoa.
cannot break 8. I cannot break 8.
You can do handstand
of
push-ups
them.
right now?
Well, no, not freely.
Oh, okay.
Not freely. No,
Okay.
I need a wall. I don't know if I'll ever be able to.
But
it's
you
a
can do
lot
them
of
on the wall.
core. Yeah, but I want to be able to do them.
I don't know if
freely.
I can do that.
For sure, you can.
I no. Well, I'm not saying I could
She's
never.
definitely stronger than you.
I'm not saying I could
100%.
never. There's no
For sure.
can't
You know
in
what's
me.
cool about it that I've realized just as a neurologic thing is being upside down like that really makes you focus on like the muscle groups you have to use. Like I never realized like
This is reversing gravity.
yes,
The
it
blood flow.
literally is.
Yeah.
It was wicked weird. Yeah,
I gotta start doing
recommend it,
them.
though.
You
I
do.
really do.
I love it.
I'm
Get
gonna
the-
do them
get
before
the
we leave.
delts.
Right on
And you
that
can
wall
like
before
tell
we
your
leave.
legs.
We're all gonna do it. I'll
You can-
Snapchat you.
I
sure.
imagine when I'm doing them, just a pole like coming through both of my feet, like that's attached to the wall, and it literally like a what are those called? Carousels with,
Yeah.
on the ponies. Like that's
Yeah.
literally how I picture my feet,
and
like
down.
visualization and like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's such a mind and body thing workout that which
Unbelievable.
I'm all
Really?
about.
I'm so glad you're here.
Right.
I'm glad I'm here too because talk about people love muscle confusion. This is so random, but always try to incorporate like mind into it.
Oh, for sure. Mind training.
Right.
Yep.
But muscle confusion, I like that too. You're like making your muscles be like, okay, we're working buys. Oh,
But
wait,
you got to challenge your
legs?
mind just as much.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I think that you weren't able to express yourself physically for a long time. Now look at how much her head
Right,
came up.
right.
Imagine if
crazy.
other people. I can tell you the amount of days I stayed in bed reading, learning,
Mm-hmm.
training my mind. People see my body and I say I train my mind 10 times harder.
Yep.
10 times harder. Like you've come up, you leveled up. I remember the first podcast I was on, Kevin said, it's like you entered big world, like you've leveled up. And everyone sees the physical because the transformation is drastic.
That's another thing with this recovery.
But it's a reflection of the mental.
yes, exactly.
It's so cool to see how
Good
much
stuff.
you've grown through the trauma.
You ready to go
That's
deep?
good to hear.
I'm ready to go deep. Let's
Ready to
do
go
it.
deep, Bella?
Let's go in.
What do you want to accomplish before you die?
Oh gosh,
He asks every guest this.
Every
I'm
guest.
so intrigued right now.
I am too.
what do I want to accomplish before I
know
die?
what she's gonna
I
say.
want the biggest thing I want to accomplish before I die. And it sounds like a selfish answer, but it's really for everyone else's good. To find my true purpose. Like true purpose, which I already know it takes a lot of soul. And for me, it's God. And that before I die, I need to know like my purpose here on earth. Just like if there was no such thing as mosquitoes, like half of our like bird and bat and population would not be here, and that would affect everything. So it's like
It's all connected.
yes, and I think so. Before I die, that's definitely one thing, and I want to be like the next Mother effing Teresa. Like I want to like.
I already
There is no way you can tell me we can send rovers and robots to different planets when we can't even figure out like Egyptian mummies in our history. We can't even literally read the language of Egyptian mummies, and we're already using billions of dollars to send things to another planet just to say we did it, but we still have starving kids. Like it's stuff like that I want to truly like. That is, I feel like led to like just.
So you're trying to get people to establish within their consciousness the less shallow. I always say you have to swim up to the shallows to bring someone down to the depths. I'm an aesthetic fitness model. The reason is you cannot influence someone unless you already know what influences them. What do kids care about? Looks, cars, money, clothes. If you don't have those things, they're not going to listen.
Exactly.
So I can bring them to something deeper.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I look the way I do. It's all a
That's
reflection of
cool.
something deeper, and I don't always talk about that. But I honestly, and this might sound crazy, you might not believe me,
No
I
such
got, okay, I shouldn't say I got the vibe. I thought in my head, Mother Teresa. Because I always ask the question, he always
That's
asks,
cool.
what do you want to accomplish before you die? I always ask, who are your heroes? Mother Teresa popped into my head
That is
when I
cool.
anticipated the question.
I believe that.
yeah,
Absolutely.
would you have said her? You already did.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Like,
Mother-
that's crazy that I
I
got that. I
Yeah,
got
things
I
are
got-
happening.
Wizards.
No, but for real, what I want to accomplish, I just want to spread the good news and like, guys, we're here for a reason.
Yeah.
Like we're
The good news.
Like that is such good news.
So what if your purpose helped millions of other people find their purpose?
That's the
That's
goal.
the ripple
goal.
effect.
There it is.
That's
Yeah.
the goal because I definitely we have to change the shift in our generation, like not so Hollywood and like.
Well, that's what's influencing right now.
But
Yeah.
wait till I get there.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. So we're gonna speak together for sure.
Absolutely.
Are you
You
aware
can just look good.
of a
oh.
Kevin can just look good,
Not hard.
flex on.
Not hard.
Not hard.
Not hard.
Have you ever heard of Dr. Wayne Dyer?
No.
Okay, so he's written 51 books.
Oh wow.
He did a documentary. So there's crazy stats like 0.1% of people actually finish a nonfiction book.
Whoa.
Which is just scary. But yet 90% of people watch TV and movies
Right.
and television. So you know, Jenny was talking last night, my girlfriend, we were watching Jimmy Kimmel Live, and I treat TV typically and commercials like the plague. I'll specifically watch certain shows like The Good Doctor or House or whatever because I the intellectual stimulation
Right.
and movies too. But I'm very selective about what I let in here. into my mind. And she said it's kind of annoying me how much of a mockery our presidency has become. Because, and again, I don't want to get too far into this because we could go down this rabbit hole.
I know, right?
But Trump's tweets, right? So they came up and I'm like, babe, let's turn this off.
Yeah.
This is poison. Like, let's get rid of this in our consciousness. And what I'm trying to say is like, because Hollywood has so much influence, people who are leaders of something deeper need to be even more out there.
And that's why I think it's people who, are in all of our, positions who have the stage to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe the right look to do it.
Yes. Right packaging, as they say.
Right. And it has to be, we'll figure it out. But it's definitely like that's my mission is to not have, and I have never met Kim Kardashian. I have never.
So glad she just went down this road.
I've never spoke to her, and I believe she is a human being with a brain and a spinal cord just like me. However, what is the? I mean, I watched. Speaking of Ellen, what up, Elle? No, I watched this short clip on Ellen the other day of Khloe Kardashian. Like, I've never met her either.
I can tell how non-judgy you want to be right now.
Yes,
you're not judging.
because
you're being objective.
Yes,
it's okay. Say it. Like, you got this.
My thing is like, Ellen asked her, "What are your two biggest fears?"
Okay.
And Khloe Kardashian says, and you can even look this up, fact check me, whales and belly buttons.
But see, they have to say that on there.
Right, that's so there's so many.
They're compounding the problem.
Right.
So, and she said it with a smirk on her face. She obviously knew Ellen was gonna be like, "What?" And Ellen made it funny to me. Ellen cracks me because Ellen's like, "I'm more concerned about real things like North Korea." And I start dying because
and she's the comedian,
right? Yeah. And it's like, it's so like, so just strip all that down and just look at the person who was answering the question. Look at the reason why she was on a show, given a stage to talk to so many people, and you ask your two biggest fears, and it's whales and belly buttons.
Yeah, is that helping anyone?
Right,
with their journey?
And that's where I see it has to be a split with Hollywood. Entertainment,
entertainment versus education.
Yes,
that's oh my God, you and I.
Yes.
What are your two biggest fears, Ellen?
My two biggest fears?
I'm curious to this.
Okay, so this is gonna get deep.
Yeah.
So, the first one is getting to the quote unquote top of the mountain alone.
Whoa, that's really deep. I like that.
And the second one is not getting to the top of the mountain because I wasn't alone, or like because I didn't stay true to what I needed.
So both of your fears are you not getting where you want to get.
In the way I want to get them.
Right.
I always say you got to do the right thing for the right reasons and in the right way. If those three aren't in alignment, you're going to not have congruency.
But do you also
I know I can get to the top of my proverbial mountain, but I'm afraid that I'll cut people out along the way that were more valuable than the top. So my biggest fears are, one, getting to the top alone. Number two is not getting to the top because
of the people you didn't cut out.
Of the people I didn't cut out.
Jesus. What a dichotomy.
That actually says a lot about you, I think. And I think just personally, I know this is like turning into like a, I don't know, but I think personally you have to accept that there are going to be things in life you can't control. And that is a total thing. Like, you can get to the top of the mountain, so don't jinx yourself, like juke yourself out by saying, but what if, just you.
It's a constant civil war.
It is.
In myself. Because there are people that I love that aren't in alignment with what I am.
Right.
But it's hard because that changes as I evolve.
But as long as you stay consistent in what you're doing, it's naturally, those people either just kind of fade away or they tag along and they become someone who's going to help you get to the top.
Kevin, I'd say this to Matt and Kevin last night. I said this last night. I was so frustrated. We were at the gym and I said, honestly, I'm getting to the point where I just got to stay focused on what I got to do. And this train is going into the stratosphere with or without people. If they want to come on board, hell yeah. If not, I got to... Because I'm chasing too many rabbits. There's so many opportunities that come my way, and I'm grateful for them. But the only reason those opportunities are there is because I perfected my craft, in the dark rooms by myself or like in the gym, getting my hands dirty. And it's difficult to try to please everybody while trying to be who you need to be.
Well, make sure you're pleasing yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I read a bumper sticker.
Your purpose.
I read a bumper sticker yesterday on my way home from therapy, and it said, it was like this tiny thing, and it said, you know, what if, you know, it was along the lines of like, if people are doing something that you can't understand or don't agree with doing, then just at least don't be a friggin' interruption.
Yeah.
And I loved that because it's like, exactly, don't you have anything better? Shouldn't you be doing your thing that I disagree with?
Yeah,
like,
or to balance it or whatever.
And so like you have to really realize like, oh my gosh, at the end of the day, it's we're all climbing our tree. Everyone climbs a tree. And if you
some branches break.
But people will try to hold on to your feet when they know that they don't have the upper body strength to go.
So I want to tell you a story it's the story of the 4 monkeys, I call it. You're gonna love this.
I like monkeys.
So this blew my mind. You've heard it before, right, Kevin?
I'm sure.
Okay, so I'm sure. Well, you need to hear it again.
I'm just gonna take a quick nap here.
Repetition is the mother of skill. I always repeat myself, but it's because it goes deeper every time.
I get you.
Yeah, she vibing. So
nice.
There's one.
I
6
tried
out
to
of 10.
skip
6 out of 10.
Did the
Not
mic
that impressed. Not that
Did the
impressed.
mic pick that one up?
Oh, for sure it did.
So they did an experiment, and I don't agree with this experiment, okay? So first and foremost, right, they did an experiment where there's an empty room with a pole in the center. And I'm paraphrasing here. This is my version of the story to get to
This
the
was
root.
a strip club?
With monkeys.
No. Okay, cool.
So there's
funny.
Kevin is hilarious, by the way.
That's the only reason I'm on.
One of the funniest.
That's That's all I have to offer.
The funniest people
I have sound
I've
equipment
ever
and
met in
jokes.
my life. I used to say that before I knew you so well.
Yeah,
I
didn't
say
like
more.
you. I do want you to know that I did not like you. At that point. So you were saying things about me that I wasn't saying.
No.
about
This
you.
was after we were good.
Oh, we liked each other.
Yeah, we liked each other then.
All right, sorry.
I still don't like him.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Okay, so anyways, so researchers did a study where there's a pole in the center of a room with bananas at the top. They put a monkey into the room. The monkey tried to climb for the bananas. It's like, I'm hungry. I can climb. I'm going to get these, right? Hell yeah, let's get it. They sprayed him in the face with cold water, like really hard, right when he touched a banana. They did this repeatedly. Eventually, the monkey stops trying, obviously. They put another monkey in the room. The monkey who's new to the room was like, dude,
Bananas.
what's wrong with you? I mean, he must not be hungry. He starts climbing. The other monkey grabs him, pulls him down.
Oh, I have heard of this.
Our loved ones have failed in their own endeavors and they've gotten hurt.
Yeah.
They are afraid. They love you.
Yes.
They are afraid you're going to get hurt too.
Really
This is
true.
why I say hashtag fear no judgment. You have to stay true to your heart. And it's so hard to do because the people that love you are going to try to hold you back. Now, this is why.
That's so cool.
Here's the crazy thing. So eventually that monkey starts trying. The second monkey stops trying because the other guy pulls him down. They put a third monkey in. Same deal. Both monkeys are pulling down the third one. They put a fourth monkey in. All 3 monkeys are pulling down the fourth one. They took the first monkey out. They put another one in. Eventually, there's 4 monkeys in a room. There's bananas at the top of a pole.
Yeah.
None of them will climb, and none of them know why.
And that's just a total separation of species, too, let me just say, because they don't have reasoning, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to protect. They don't know.
I get that. That goes to show you of
For
how,
your environment.
as humans, how much more detrimental that is.
Yeah.
Because we have reasoning, and
We can rationalize.
We can be like, "You dick! Why did you just spray me?" You know, like, well, no, it's for your own good. You know, but
Yeah,
like
exactly.
just saying,
And then,
like,
so it's just hate and hate.
exactly.
And hate and hate.
But when they don't have, that is really interesting.
I always say that everyone is going to have an opinion about what you're doing, and they're entitled to their opinion, but it is not a fact unless you make it so. It's an opinion. It's just an opinion.
What if I want to get sprayed by the water? Like, what if one of the monkeys was like, "Yo, I don't care, it's just water."
And then just get
Just
the
grab the
bananas
bananas
anyway.
and then
Yeah.
fuck out you.
Well, then that's
well,
that's
You know what I mean,
I
though?
think that's what
but
we
that
need to do.
shows the
Right.
lack of reasoning, because if the monkey knew that
it's just water.
Yeah.
that if he does go get it, he's not going to get, shot or stabbed.
Yeah, true.
Then that's where reasoning kicks in.
Fear holds us back from your proverbial banana, your dreams, your true north. There are people that are going to try to pull you down, and they're doing it what they think is your own good.
Right. But
It's
fear.
not.
It's fear.
It's fear.
Bella, what
Yeah.
are the things, like 2 things that you're most afraid of? I wanted to hear this
Two
because
things that I'm most afraid
you
of.
aren't afraid of anything now.
Honestly, not finding my purpose. But I'm pretty confident I can do that. It just
feel
takes
like
a
you
lot of
already
it
have.
takes
Yeah.
a lot of consistency and
Oh yeah.
yeah. And my other biggest fear is not being able to sprint again. It's such a selfish fear, but like I like can't imagine. I'm like
Run like the wind.
yes, I just miss the feeling of just like
I just pictured Forrest Gump. Just
yeah,
like, right?
Forrest Gump out of my
Run,
brace.
Bella,
Like
run, you know, like-
I like oh yeah, I would go like 1 foot and be like but no, like yeah, that is definitely one of my fears is but why I'm okay with that fear is because I understand that at least I'm fearful of something that I have no control in making happen.
In the greater.
So
scheme.
like yeah, so like if I'm on my deathbed, you know, hopefully when I'm old and
120.
yeah, I'm thinking. I told myself when I was 13 I'd live another 100 years, so I'm like convinced I'm gonna live to 113.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it.
Sure.
So
As long as it's past the 100, we're
yeah,
good.
it's
You got at least
really-
a century. Come on.
But like I always think like if I'm on my like deathbed and I went my whole life without ever sprinting again, I'd be okay with it because I could look back at my life and just see, finding my purpose. That my other fear. So it's like kind of like take one, leave one. You have to always pick your poison in life, and that's But like what you say is like the people you love the most, people who love you the most, are gonna be the ones holding you.
And they're the ones who have the most influence on you.
Yes. Well, what do you mean?
I think that they have the most, like, what Kevin thinks of me, I would tend to care more about than what some stranger thinks of me.
Right.
Because I love him. I care about him a lot. So what you care about, those are the people who are most likely to hold you back because they have pull.
You value their opinion.
You value their opinion. Yeah. And their opinions have value. There's a lot of times when, Jenny would say something and it's like, oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I told you about the clothing, dressing nicer, right? The packaging around the product.
I agree with that to an extent. There comes to a point in life, and I've learned this in such a, where it comes down to the person you love and the person who loves you, their opinion. So like him giving you an opinion. Yeah. It comes down to that opinion and your inner, your soul.
Your opinion of that opinion.
Then it comes to that argument. And
how do you think you should address that?
How you address it is
because what if that opinion has some value congruent with what your soul?
Then
right? That's hard to dissect.
Then take the meat, cut off the fat. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like you don't have to eat the fat just because it's on the meat.
Like
hell, you don't even have to eat the meat if it's right in front of you.
If you don't want to.
Exactly. And that's what I think people, especially our generation, is so sucked into. And I've had such a unique opportunity to literally have to focus on an entire different life that I knew is so new to me. Till this day, I always say I'm like 3 years old. Like, that's how I feel. Right. And I've had the unique opportunity to have to do that during such maturing like stages of life. That's why I think I'm the most mature person, because I had to make that hop like so dramatically. And it's like I look back,
that's gotta be
and I see you guys. Yeah, and I see and I hear, what everyone's talking about that I just miss out on every day because I just have learned.
You've been focused on the other stuff.
Yeah, and I just also learned that like a lot of the reason why people want to care about, like, even if it's your loved ones, it's your love. I mean, I will never forget when my dad kept saying, like, Bella, it's just if you try to go back to school, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, Bella. You're gonna. And I was like, no, Dad, I'm going. I went. I lasted one class back at St. Joe's. One class. My blood pressure was through the roof. My heart rate was flying. I just didn't realize how. I mean, other kids, the other athletes in their, just warm-ups come, and I just like, it was a mind trip, but I'm the type of person that if I don't do it, like if I never try, I'll never be able to live with myself wondering why.
Yeah, regret.
And what I've learned now, just since that was like the first big, decision I had to make after my accident, I realized like, oh my gosh, if you ever told me 4 months ago that, let alone not going to school or playing, but being in this condition, I would be like, what? And if I ever heard a sound bit from my dad saying what Bella, it's going to be very hard. I don't want to discourage. Yeah. But I love him. He loves me more than anything. But
yeah,
I don't, and that to me, I was like, well, that's not support. That's not, blah, blah, blah. But
what he said had value, but you still had to try.
And that's because of who I am. Yeah. The why is because, but
so
I
your
know
why was stronger than his.
I know I'm one of 6 kids. I have 5 siblings.
Okay.
I can guarantee you, one of my siblings would have said, "Okay, Dad," and take that advice because A, they're either smarter than me, or 2, they I broke
Nice.
it again.
4
Get
out of
it?
10. 4 out of 10.
There it is. Yep. Okay.
3 out of 10.
Can we get one? No. I know that that's just it's who I am, and that's really where it comes to at the end of the day. Is guys, just get to know yourself.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have that level of self-belief, though, that overrides
right.
other people's opinions.
You're
They're always
I
looking.
would argue that I don't.
I always look for
For sure.
When you can tell when you're talking to
yeah.
someone, people are always looking for validation.
Yes.
Like in the gym, I notice this. So especially when I'm, carved up and I'm looking at my best, I can tell people are looking at me, trying to like make sure what they're doing is right. Like they think that they perceive
Validation.
me as knowing what I'm doing, which is good. Thank you for
False.
that. But at
False.
the same time, it's like you don't need my approval to do what you're doing. Like, for example,
That's cool.
I have certain people that I'll help occasionally, like students that go to Boost or whatever. And I notice when I step in the gym, I won't name any names, they get uncomfortable.
Yep.
Like, and I can tell they think I'm judging them.
That's cool that you can. Not a lot of people have that empathy in that way. That's cool. I think a lot of people do. They just say, bad vibes, good vibes, but like, no, what you feel is what you feel, and that's very cool that you observe that, because it really, I observe that now too. Like,
Yeah.
just since I walked into Honey Farms the other night. Oh my gosh, and these 3 girls, probably 13, 14 years old, looked like a ghost walked in. Like literally, you could tell there was like little softball play. They knew my story,
Yeah.
and like it was like they saw a ghost, and like I just smiled and said hi, and then on my way back, I heard like one of them like, "No, you do it. No, you do it. No, you do it," and like the typical like.
Yeah.
And I just think, and why I like think I can connect with people, and people should use this. What I'm about to say, like in all aspects of their life, is like you can literally like just custom everything you are to the person you're talking to.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that makes the person be like, oh my gosh, I can be myself, but it's still
Yeah.
that person. But I can be myself. And
Their perception of you is so intimidating. Kevin and I talk about this all the time because I'm always about
Yes.
mentors, learning from people.
yes, yeah.
Like to chase your dreams, for example. And it's like a lot of people are too intimidated or too afraid because they think you're they put you on a
Yes.
pedestal.
Well, but that's because look at Hollywood,
I
look
know,
at power.
I
What
know.
does power has to always involve either money or make you feel like a piece of crap.
Because that's how
Yeah.
you sell things.
Exactly.
And
that's
Alan
how
taught
you-
me that early
That's
on.
how you sell things.
It's competition. You
It's
have
crazy.
to, but
They're
it's-
trying to get you to think you need what they have to be whole.
Yeah, so that's what I think we're living in a world right now where
And we're selling the
Yep.
opposite right
yes,
now.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So,
So
we are
exciting.
like that their biggest enemy right
Yes.
now is
Because we're saying you already are enough.
yeah, and we're
this is
instilling
how you
it
become
into
more.
people. We're just like, hey, reminder,
Yeah.
you're breathing for yourself, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, or like, like, are you like? It's not because of the best world leader 25 years ago, that you are who you are today. Like, you are your own person. You have
Yeah.
your own choices.
You
You're
don't
not
need
bound
me to agree with what you're doing.
and you're not
Yeah.
bound to any one idea or situation or
Yep.
person. Of course, you're not bound to people. I
Yeah.
cannot stand when people think that
In
they are
relationships,
somebody.
Yeah, you
Relationship-
own the person.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
we talk
like-
about that all the time.
like-
It's the killer of relationships.
and it's such a growth stunter. It's,
Yeah.
it's just like it's like
Yeah.
how can you people have to stop being artificial and feel what they feel.
Yeah.
I think, so what you just said, I think your social media does a great job of proving that that's exactly how you are.
That's cool.
Like your social media is all about your journey.
Yeah.
It's like people get famous now because they're hot.
Yeah.
And they show skin or whatever it is.
And then
like,
and that perpetuates the problem.
Right.
Because that becomes them. And then what happens when they're not hot anymore?
Right.
They're going to end up 35. There's a time limit on this identity, and
Yeah.
you're going to have a midlife crisis.
Right.
It's so amazing you just said that because before my accident, I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. And my dad would always say, Bella, it's like an image thing. You always got to look good. And I'm like, Dad, I got this. Like,
Yeah.
and after my accident, I mean, I would never, ever want to go into sports broadcasting now. But
But
like,
you're doing a different kind now.
yes.
It's so
and-
fascinating.
But
I
it's
love it.
something that like
this.
I don't have to.
Yeah.
I
you don't have to
realize that I am still enough. I'm still worth it, half paralyzed. And like that to me was just like, oh my gosh, I thought I'd be half as good. No pun intended, but like, you know what I mean? Like, what? And that's where it's like starting to exercise your mind, your heart, and your soul more than your body. It's like that's when like holy gains.
Kevin always says this: what you think you
just
are
gonna
is
fucking
more
say it.
important than what you actually are, because perception is your
Nobody
reality.
knows what you're thinking right now. You are the only thing. You're the only person who goes to bed every single night with those thoughts.
Yeah.
If you're a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company and you want to be a fisherman, you're probably not that happy. You are what you think you are.
That is
You
so
should chase what you think you are. You, Alan said for 2 years before he became a bodybuilder, I'm a bodybuilder. He didn't look like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Right.
He just started training like one.
Yep.
Now he is one.
Envisioning.
I thought I was long before I looked like one. I'll tell you what.
I'm going to go pee.
And if I didn't think that, Kevin's gonna go pee. If I didn't think that, I wouldn't have become it.
That's actually unreal.
It's crazy. So I have a really. Whenever people say things like perception is your reality, I don't know if they really buy into it because they haven't experienced it. How do we get people to realize that thoughts are things in a sense of like, if I think highly of myself, regardless of whether or not other people do, that's how I'm going to feel, and how I feel is going to dictate what I do, and what I do is going to feed back into my self-esteem.
Right.
So for
Right.
you, I can literally feel within you, and I might be wrong about this, but I feel like you have higher self-esteem now than you did before the accident.
I have so much confidence in my mind, and that's how I know that the mind is what controls.
Yep.
Like I said, your feet will never head in any direction your mind wasn't already going.
Exactly.
And yeah, higher self-esteem, knowing that I have a mind that I trust.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
the
what
way
you think about yourself. Like you think
exactly.
highly of yourself.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
Oprah has a great quote. She says that people think I'm full of myself. I used to think that as a bad thing, but now I think of it, my cup is full.
Right.
And I can water the world
Yes.
with it. Like, if you're not
Yes.
full of yourself, full of love, like, you cannot give away
If
what you
you
don't
can't
have.
give, yeah.
Because if you don't have love for yourself, self-love,
Exactly. Self-love
then
is
you won't
everything.
have any love to give. I always think about when I was most miserable. It was when I was least grateful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hands down.
There's always, what's right is always available if you can search for it.
Yes.
But we're mostly, Tony Robbins says this. He says, this mind is 2 million years old. It is designed to look for what's wrong because it's designed to make you survive, not to make you happy. It's your job to make yourself happy by shifting that
Yeah.
and deciding to look for what's right. There's a lot of things right now that I could look at that are wrong. Like, my car is in some random parking lot. Like, I have other challenges, financial stuff like that,
Right.
family, all that.
Right.
But I choose to focus primarily
Yeah.
on what I'm grateful for and what
Right.
is good and what is working.
That's
like
aw-
my beautiful girlfriend, like
yeah.
my great friendships, like this interview.
Right.
Like, there's so many things
Exactly.
to be grateful for. And you were in a moment where there's almost nothing to be grateful for, and you still found it. You still found it.
And that's where that's faith. I mean, and I always say, I never, like, I'm not like preach, but what people want to know what works for me, I tell them what works for me. And it's
Yeah.
believing that
There's something greater.
self-love, right?
Yeah.
To know that there's this God. I mean, in my this is what I believe. In my mind, there's this God who's not one thing, he's everything.
Yeah.
And he literally farted out the Big Bang and was like, "All right, let's get things rolling." I
Never heard it explained that way.
I'm lonely. Like,
Just farted out the Big Bang.
you know, like literally farts. But guys, like I believe, like, how I see it, how my self-love, where it comes from, is to know that I'm that important to something so
To be.
infinite
To be.
that he made a mess in space. I mean, oh my gosh, things are still expanding, and like,
Yeah.
and I have the opportunity to be here because I feel like an expression. We are all expressions, like from that one formless and timeless one life, and that itself is life, and there can't be an opposite. Like, like there's no opposite, because like everything, everybody, everything here is just an expression of that, like, one
Source.
Yeah, and that's what I find a lot of my. I mean, that gets me pumped. Like, I get so pumped about it. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, oh.
A lot of people think that it's like, oh, I have faith. It's like, to me, faith is when everything points to the contrary, but you still believe it. Like, you still believe. Like for example, when you're
That's the
going through
way
a
I've never
challenge and
heard.
everything around you points to the fact that, things aren't going to work out.
Right.
You have to have faith. That's when it's hardest to have faith.
Believing what you cannot see.
How much did you just feel that when you were saying that?
A lot.
Yeah. I could tell.
Because and again, this is more of a, the reasons behind my aesthetics aspirations with fitness. So my first show, I came in 5th out of 6th. I did terrible. I thought I would win. I told everyone I would win. I always use this because I spent months and months and months and years really prepping my body for this show to try to compete at that level. I said, I'm going to win. No question. I got this. It was a little arrogant, to be honest, a lot of arrogant. And I lost completely. I felt like I let everyone down, all that stuff. I could have thought, oh, men's physique isn't for me. Instead, I did the opposite. I said, even though I got the result and it wasn't good, I'm going to choose to believe that this is still my thing. Something inside of me knew it.
But what I would ask right away, who says 5th place?
I know. Yeah, exactly. So
another guy who shits on the toilet the same way you do. But that's my point.
Oh yeah, the judges.
So
this is a tough example for that.
No. But that's my point. Is you became. You're, number one, I personally think now, if you were to go back and do that,
thank you. I did. So I did. I won the show the next time. I won.
But it's not,
only because I believed me more than them.
Exactly.
More than the results, right? I always say, don't define yourself by your results. Define yourself by your progress and your effort.
But then when you finally got that win,
yeah,
doesn't mean that you're also, in cahoots with the judges now because you like that validation. No, it's not their validation to you. It's the work you put in. It's the work, it's
what I wanted to do, and it's consistent with my mission because I know this is what influences people. But I want to bring people deeper to the mind. If I have the body, people will look at that and then they'll see the mind.
Right.
And then they'll value the mind. I want to get people amped about learning.
Exactly.
How do you do that though? See, this is something that I always notice. Like you said, when the Kardashians are on Ellen, everybody watches it because that's what everybody does. And
quote unquote,
quote unquote, self-growth, self-love, self-expression, self-development is still kind of like taboo to a lot of people. It's like, what are you, a nutcase?
Yeah.
But hell yeah.
But we're the people that can turn that around.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So how
you
how do you
know
formulate
how
that? Of course
we have to educate people on the fact that the only reason why it is taboo is because the time that you should be spending practicing self-love and these things, you're spending watching.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, it's monkey see, monkey do.
I honestly think the answer is actually fairly shallow. So if someone is living a very shallow life, you have to basically, Kevin, to answer your question, you have to have what they want. Period. I always say this quote. If Tom Brady taught geometry in New England, everyone would know the Pythagorean theorem. Everyone.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's a leader. He's a hero. If where admiration goes, energy flows. Our teachers growing up, a lot of us would have known way more. We would have learned way more if we subconsciously looked up to that person. If a teacher is broke, divorced, out of shape, drinking Diet Coke, miserable, drinking Diet Coke every day, why would we listen? Right. We just wouldn't. So I think if you want to influence someone, help them, expand their mind from, let's say, something like whales and belly buttons to something deeper. Right. You have to first have what they want, which might be a watch or abs. And then you can get them to realize the only reason I have these things are because I was working on this guy. Right. That's it.
Cool.
And by the way, this is all that fucking matters.
But and also refuse to sell out.
Yeah.
She's leaving me hanging.
I was trying to get her to turn around and face me for as long as possible.
The ones I know, I'm like this, right?
We're so fighting for your attention. I love it.
But don't sell. It's like tennis, Bella
so
tennis.
3 people in a room.
Don't sell out. Don't sell out
a circle
to get where you want.
So how do you? This is the $1 trillion question. How do you not sell out?
You be you.
Yeah, but. Would you? So you've noticed I've started dressing nicer.
Yeah.
Right.
Would you? Do you think that's consistent with me?
Yeah, because you like looking nice.
I do. I do. Yeah.
What I'm saying is like
it's hard to find that line.
If somebody called me right now and said, "Hey, we're gonna give you $500,000, but I just need you to plug the Kardashian show."
Oh, never.
I would say you
never.
can take your $500,000
and you can shove it.
You can shine it up nice and put it in your butthole.
Exactly.
Because I don't want it.
Yeah.
That's not.
But, I know.
But if it's like
I'm not gonna promote something that I don't believe in.
I will not sell out. I will never sell out or do anything I don't believe in.
Yeah.
Because I know I can get where I want to go being myself. That's it.
And by the way, that poem that I say, it's by the one in the mirror, the man in the glass. It's all about, at the end of the day, that's who you are. So if you sell out to get to where you want to go, I think that's probably my third biggest fear. Getting to the top of the mountain with everyone I love, but I sold out to get there.
That's why people go crazy, because they're not themselves anymore.
Yeah.
So those are my top 3 fears right there.
Wow.
Interesting.
You should
See?
write those down.
I should write those down. I have the first 2 written down. I
Good.
just came up with the third one because conversations change lives.
Yeah, they do.
That's true.
When you go hyper-conscious.
Yeah.
Wait, because conversations change lives. You gotta look at them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, but
That'll be the thumbnail.
I think that all I can think about really is we live in the world of technology now, and I find it ironic that robots are everywhere. Our phones, literally what we're using, it's robots. And one time I heard this, he's like the head of aeronautics at some big, I think UCLA. He said robots are only as smart as the person who designed it.
Yeah. Can we design something that's smarter than us? I don't know. That's a philosophical mind.
And to me,
yeah.
I just life is breathed in, and everything that is living and alive requires oxygen. And like, I like that he said that is robots are only as smart as the person who made it, because when the Mars rover all of a sudden got too much dirt on its little sensory thing, literally just had a smudge of dirt that it wouldn't come off.
Yeah.
So now the whole time it's, X amount of light years away, not doing anything because it has dirt on it.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it can't just be like,
Somebody's gonna figure that out.
So now that was 4 months where NASA had to figure out how, oh wow, well we can't make
NASA
it.
in her profile. You're big on NASA stuff.
NASA.
Do you have any
Oh my
like?
gosh, love NASA.
Oh, I have another great question. So he asked you what do you want to accomplish before you die? What's your number one dream? So to sprint again is up there.
Sprint. I would love to
What's
sprint.
the NASA stuff?
I honestly want to be like, I don't know how involved I can get, but someday I want to be pretty involved in getting space debris out of our atmosphere.
Shit.
Very cool.
Yeah, I have such a good idea that like I just think like makes sense, and it's not a problem right now because like I remember being in middle school when recycling was a thing. Like, do you remember like so you guys would have been almost in high school.
Take it easy.
Like I'm like so
What are
you
you
guys
saying?
would have
No.
been no, but like recycling was a thing randomly. Like
Yeah.
when we were growing up, it was just all of a sudden like, okay, kids, throw the plastic in the green one,
Love
and like
the way she does
literally
that.
like people like I remember just being like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
But it was because of all of a sudden animals are getting things wrapped around their necks, and
Oh, yeah.
so what I'm
It's a whole
saying is,
thing.
didn't I tell you guys?
You and my girlfriend would get
take about
along.
11.
She's big about
Oh my
this.
gosh, you should give me your contact.
I will.
Like, for instance, the only reason why people are gonna get rid of space debris is when we send up a $1 billion satellite and it gets taken out by a shard of metal. Trash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and that-
When we lose money on the day, we're gonna be like, oh my god.
Proactive
Space
versus
debris.
reactive.
So right now it's like flowing thing, but
Yeah.
like I do want to be like honestly with like the reason why like I really like NASA's, I want to keep our home safe for sure.
For sure.
Just put a freaking soccer net
Mother Nature.
wedged in a satellite, let it burn through our atmosphere. Then at the very last second, when it's about to drift off into space forever, release the soccer net and just have it grab like all a bunch of stuff, and then it will burn up literally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You
Are
should
you?
talk to
I
NASA.
was gonna say.
Say this on the Ellen show.
Well, I
she's
just-
connected with NASA
Yeah.
probably.
She has a little more pull than we.
Yeah. we'll
little
send
bit.
this to NASA.
Buzz Aldrin, what up?
By the way, my girlfriend last night I showed her your profile and she's like, "This is next level. I'm so glad you're gonna
Wow,
go
you
meet her."
guys are
She's a
such
big fan
confident.
of just your challenge. and
Really?
all this. She was literally on your profile like, "Whoa!" And trust me, she doesn't always agree with everything I do.
Well, it's not a good relationship if you do agree on
Oh, I
everything.
know. No, she
Yeah,
challenged.
love
She
it.
makes me
Yeah.
better.
Love it.
I always say diamonds are formed by pressure.
Yes.
It's true.
And she challenges me for sure because she knows when someone believes in you,
yeah.
they like wholeheartedly, and they know you're living below your potential.
Mm-hmm.
They like really
Oh yeah.
harp on you a bit, and when your heart is that open to someone, she's my favorite human.
Exactly.
It's tough to hear sometimes because it's like, oh, you know,
There's very few people in your life who can push your buttons. Like
Oh, yeah.
that you don't mind like
she's made me better every time.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like she's always right. It's like, how did you know that?
Bella, what's your support system like?
Yeah.
honestly amazing.
Yeah.
Like I support, like I said, one thing I've learned from Eric, like just from the beginning of my recovery is just like support is everything, because I pushed a lot of support away. Like I said, I didn't want my family to
Right.
see
You're
me.
very proud.
I was like, it was
You had to get.
it was like probably like the most selfish thing I've ever done in my like post recovery life was like,
That was
no,
my
I
biggest
don't
fear.
I
Yeah.
don't want my parents or my family I don't want my little sister to see me getting my diaper changed. Like, I didn't want, and it was for a selfish reason of I wanted them to know that you can just tell on their face when they walk into the hospital. Like, you could just tell on their face, "Hi, Belle." Like, that you could tell that they just wanted to cry. And like that to me was very like, it hurt me, and they thought that they were doing a good job not. So I'm like, you know what? Rather not just come. I got used to accepting my condition and accepting the support that I needed and not taking the support as like artificial. Because I saw a lot, family and friends like, you'll do it, you'll be fine. Like,
yeah.
I just was like, that's so hard. Like, I just, but you guys don't get it. Like, this is like real life.
I feel like your radar for BS is like so on point.
Right.
It really
so on point.
It's like it like.
How did we make it this far in the interview without you noticing I'm a fraud?
I got a mental tab going on.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Because you're not, man.
How
It's
did
the
I
heart.
get here?
It's the heart
It
behind
is.
it.
How did I get here?
Yeah, it's the heart.
No, it truly is the heart, and that's that. Yeah, support. It's just been. I think everyone in their life, there's a lot of people who aren't fortunate enough to even have family around.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I know,
And-
right?
and-
Just completely alone.
And alone. And what I always want to encourage people is, the number 0 is a made up thing. We all know that, right? The number 0 wasn't invented until
there's no such
people
thing as nothing.
people started losing chickens when they were trading. They used to leave the tens column blank. So if you were gonna have 104 chickens, it was just one blank four. But then here comes the money, foreshadowing. This could mean someone could just put in a 9 and get 194 of my chickens, and I don't want to lose chickens on the day. So it took them, the Greeks, 2,000 years to come up with 0.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
And then the Middle I think it was like, who was it? Yeah, the Middle Eastern country, like the genies and stuff. They started to take math like that and use like all this, because of the number 0 just literally like added so much. I mean, no pun intended, but added so much to our number system of life because it's a made up thing. So my point is now we've evolved, right? We know what nothing looks like. We think. We know what nothing looks like. You either have Skittles or you don't. You either have your phone or you don't. And
this is getting deep.
No, but we correlate, and it
Yeah.
has to do with the support. Is we correlate? Oh my gosh, I have no family around. Oh my gosh, I lost everything. My house burnt down. I have nothing. This is what 0 looks like.
Oh.
Really? Because I see a tree right there.
Right.
And like that's I'm sorry, that's life. I see life outside. You are never alone. And when people can start
Interesting.
seeing that in such an empowering way instead of being like, that's stupid. That's just a stupid animal.
That kind of fucked me up a little bit.
That blew my mind. So
Yeah,
0
yeah.
was the label, and the label becomes the experience. So now that we have a label for nothingness, we experience
think.
it.
Yeah, we think that nothing.
But
so
there's no such thing as nothing.
There's literally no such thing.
Even before and after.
Unless-
Interesting.
My head hurts. My head hurts.
Yeah.
Kevin might have a mental breakdown mid.
So with
mid-podcast.
support, in regards to support, it's like, guys, like,
You're never alone.
never.
Yeah.
Never. And but it is what stings the most is it's your damn choice
Yeah,
to
you
get
feel
off your
alone.
feet and go sniff a flower and go hug a friggin' wild animal. Like
Yeah.
just realize that life is literally in the air. Because
You're out in nature like a ton, right?
I love nature.
I
the
think
best.
that's something that I need to work more on.
Yeah, me too. I noticed that there's a direct correlation between my happiness and how much time I spend in nature.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
you know
spend
those
any time
videos
outside.
on my Snapchat where I'm like,
Me too.
you know, those
0.
You don't do like breathing exercises outside?
No.
yoga with Adrian.
I don't do it outside.
But it's not outside. Yeah.
You got to do breathing exercises
sure,
outside
for
because
sure.
getting
Well,
that.
teach me.
Think about an engine, right? Like in a car.
Yep.
If you're not, Drano. You
Sure.
got to clean the drain once in
yep.
a while.
Yeah.
I see
Get out
fresh.
all the
I
crap.
see fresh air as like that. Like
Yeah.
like
The
I'm like
cleansing.
hawking up loogies and
Yeah.
excuse
Burping.
me.
Burping.
See, Joe Rogan always says, Joe Rogan is a huge, I don't know if you know Joe Rogan. He hosts the Fear Factor. He's got
Oh, I know that
yeah,
guy.
he's-
Podcaster,
so
yeah.
a lot of people know him for that. He's a ridiculously deep person. He's got
Really?
Yeah, he's got one of the greatest podcasts of all time.
That's one of Kevin's
good to know.
heroes.
Yeah, he's my hero for sure.
Yep.
But he's all about I learned the float tank from Joe Rogan.
Really?
That's where I learned it from.
Yep.
But he's all about he's like he goes on like 5-day treks. Like he just goes
Nature.
out into nature
Yeah.
for 5 days, and he's like, when you come back, man,
You want to feel
it's
connected?
different.
Yeah, it's different.
There's no cell phone. There's no TV.
Yeah.
There's silence and nature, and that resets you because that's what we're made for. We're not made to sit on couches and watch
I
TV.
know,
Silence has been my new like favorite playlist, and like
That's such a cool quote. I'm gonna
Write
quote
that
you.
down.
Yeah.
Man, write that
Quote
down.
you,
it really has been.
Silence is
but
my new favorite playlist.
Right?
it is, but people will obviously
Is it public on your Spotify?
they don't like. Imagine that, just like shuffle play, and just nothing.
Yeah, right.
You're doing it.
Do it.
No,
Yeah.
but like.
Every now and then you're doing
Like,
it.
for real, yeah,
For the,
you're
for the
doing
fair
good.
price of $19.99.
Yeah.
Just buy this playlist here.
Hashtag
No,
earplugs.
but for real, look at our generation. We always need the headphones.
It's always the
We
stimulation.
Yeah.
Constant.
That is
constant.
something I learned when I moved to Florida. I was like, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's okay to sit in silence. That's
Yeah.
where the most growth happens.
Yeah, solitude. Personal growth is personal.
Yeah, exactly. So how can people complain about, they're not getting this, they're not da, when they haven't even gotten to know themselves? I crack myself up. I literally.
Oh, yeah.
I am alone. If I told you guys how much I'm alone a day,
Bella.
you wouldn't know how.
No, Bella, you don't want to mess with me when it comes to this.
No, like I'm talking like I like use. Never mind. But basically, my point is like I like being alone.
Right. I lived in New Hampshire by myself. There was multiple days where I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't text anybody. I didn't talk
That's amazing.
to anybody. I would
Balance is
argue,
key.
yeah, I would
Balance is
argue
key.
that I was a little bit going the other way.
Yeah,
I was
when
a
you don't
couple.
have a roommate and you're
Yeah.
alone for
Talking
so
to
long.
walls and
There's no one
stuff.
there to go, dude.
Now I know, like
I don't know, man.
the Unabomber lived out in
Right.
the woods by himself, and one day he was like, "I'm just gonna build a bomb."
Yeah.
Like, I lived in the woods by myself, and I was like,
Wow.
I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm starting to go a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Talk about a backfire.
It's gotta be,
Yeah.
it's gotta be
No,
balanced.
but that's the thing is balanced. And
so
and
most people are on the other end of that.
Yeah.
yes.
They're on their constant stimulation. They can't be
Exactly.
alone for a
And
moment.
I
Yeah.
think just people our age, especially now with stimulation everywhere, that it's like the balance is do what feels right. If you're looking at your phone too much or caring about something
yeah.
too much, when all of a sudden hours go by and you're like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Like, deep down, like that's like a slap on the hand. Like, don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
that's not good for your eyes. It's not good for your mind. And, you just gotta like kind of exercise other aspects.
You'll like this. I call the phone a weapon of mass distraction.
It is.
And everyone's
Weapon
got
of
one
mass
in their pocket.
distraction.
And I use it too. But make
Yeah,
sure
I mean,
you're
it's how we live.
the master, not the slave.
People used to talk about hundreds of years ago how eventually people are going to be robots and they're going to have technology attached to them. We literally have that.
we
now.
are that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We are, and I think so.
And that's a good thing if used properly.
right. It's a tool.
See, I don't use it enough, like for what
Interesting.
I should.
Well, to influence.
To
If that's where
influence,
everyone's
yeah.
eyes
Right,
are, that's
right.
where we need to be to
But
influence.
that's a tough
Exactly.
line.
And,
It's
but,
a tough
but
line.
that
Yeah,
is
it's balance, balance.
talk about a civil war
Oh,
inside of
inside
me.
you,
It's like
yeah.
I'm not the best version of myself when I have to.
When you're tethered to the
Yes.
digital.
it-
yeah.
So like the amount
You and
of
I are so similar.
the
with that.
amount of time it requires for me to reach the audience I want to reach via social media and technology. I know about myself, and I know that is not the best version of me.
Yeah.
That's why I think I gotta hire someone to do that.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
Yep.
like
Well, if you
people
know
are
that,
different.
Yep.
But then
I've noticed
that
'cause
aspect comes trust. I gotta trust someone.
Right.
to
which
be
is-
authentically
yeah,
you
that's
somehow
why I
through
wanna
that
be
platform. Yeah.
the most transparent person I can
Yep.
for even such things like that.
So practicality right now, you can hire someone who's good at video editing, good at creating content. You just show up, like we mentioned in the
Right.
preamble. You be your authentic best self, who was in nature for the 3 days prior
Right.
to that, right? And then they distribute that.
That's the,
But you
that-
sign
yeah.
off on it before it gets distributed,
Right.
right? Because
Right.
you don't want the people that you're leading, that you're inspiring, to not feel like it's you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Yep.
something I'll figure out. But yeah.
And you will.
Yeah, for
You're
sure
in the
you'll figure it
process.
out.
You know,
Yeah.
you're in the process.
For sure, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. I plan on sending you clips from this.
Absolutely.
And if I'll tell you straight up, like if it doesn't resonate with you,
Cool.
don't post it. If it does resonate with you,
Right.
say whatever you feel.
Yeah. Right.
Say whatever you feel.
Right. But whatever you
Absolutely.
Be honest.
regardless.
Yeah, be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can when you like
Even
when
if you think
write
Kevin
Alan's
was-
a creep. I'm getting there first. You can write that because most people will understand that.
Yeah.
So going back to like the cell phone stuff. So hyperconscious to me, the reason I came up with the name hyperconscious, is because I want to be able to think of things that most people don't think about, but I want to be able to think of those things and also think of breaking those things down into simpler things and then thinking of those.
Manifestation.
Right. In my head, I know I shouldn't be on my cell phone. I know what I'm doing is I shouldn't be
if
scrolling.
it's not productive. Right.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people know that, but they don't do the necessary changes.
Well, that's the habit.
Exactly. And I think becoming hyper-conscious to a lot of people probably seems overwhelming.
Yeah.
Start with the things that you know you should be doing and just follow through and do them.
Yeah.
First step.
I like that because I automatically think of supply and demand is people know it's wrong, but they still do it because we're living in a world where it's acceptable to do it.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
I mean, and talk about like, oh, yeah, the longest battery life on this. You can waste 4 hours of your life scrolling through Twitter. Yeah. Let's do it. And we're like, okay. And like do it. And it almost feels like we're left out when we're not doing it.
I always say if it's not making you better, stop doing it.
Exactly.
It really is
and
that
honestly,
simple. If it is,
guys,
double down.
honestly, guys, that's why my Instagram has been like super like MIA is just because I'm like
I'm glad we got your number and texted because otherwise
I know,
we would have
right?
been
Nope,
here. We'd been
I
like in
would've-
the
I have been creeping
nothing.
on your Instagram. I've been like creeping.
Yeah.
Like to see like what's going on.
Yeah.
What's going on with Bella?
Yeah.
What's she doing?
You are not.
She's out in
you are not
nature
the
with
first
the
person to say
butterflies.
that. I know, literally. It's like I wonder what she's doing.
Yeah.
I'm literally like outside naked,
Just
like
laying in the snow.
just like doing the rain dance. No, but like I just do things that I enjoy, and I don't care who wants to join or not. I don't, and I credit a lot of it to my dog Benny because I never realized how like.
Shout out to Benny.
Yeah, I know, Benny, love you. I never realized how good it felt to be looked at as just someone who loves something.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of the girl who broke her neck or the All-American or the softball.
Right.
Interesting,
Like,
yeah.
but he
Someone
showed.
who loves life.
Yes.
For life.
He showed me that. And like, that's why like, I literally like think when I meet people, like I probably remind them of a dog. Like, because I'm just like, that's okay. I don't care what you're wearing, what you look like. I see you as a brain and a spinal cord and I want to get to know everything. Like, I just get so pumped because I'm like, oh my gosh, you're living too? My sister brought up the most amazing idea the other day. My older sister, Maria.
What do we got?
She goes, Bella, isn't it amazing how we say happy birthday? Like, when it's your birthday, we celebrate.
Oh, yeah.
And
But why not every day?
But it's so funny because my sister's literally like, it's literally like us saying like, oh my gosh, congratulations, you're here too. Like,
I say that all the time.
yeah, like
You literally had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You were just born.
Yeah.
Here's a cake. Take it.
like,
Yeah.
but like,
By the way, some people have a birthday week,
Right.
birthday month.
Yeah,
It
oh,
literally
yeah.
drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
but
all
like, but that's the thing. If you look at, I like that you said that because people make their birthday weekends. People make their birth, but it's like, think about the concept. We're literally like, I don't know what else the hell to say besides happy. You're here on Earth Day. Like,
right?
Like, congratulations. I'm confused too.
why don't we treat it that way every day?
That's my
Imagine if every
question.
day was treated as special as you. So this is going to blow your mind. I calculated it out. So the average life expectancy for an American female is 73 years old. If you calculate that out in days, it's only 26,000 days. If you had $26,000, how carefully would you spend it?
Yeah.
Ferrari, first day.
But
Done.
seriously.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm 29. I think a lot of that is already spent, right? So it's like, and again, I plan on living to 120.
Right.
But you can never really plan for that. It could all be over, and that's why it brings value to today. But like, I think people are wasting their time with things that just don't matter. If it's not making you better, stop doing it.
I like that you say 26,000 days for a 73-year-old. That's cool because I think just that concept alone, on top of the bigger concept, like idea that you're making, ADD. Today, right now, what is it, January 20th?
It's the 20th.
Yeah.
January 20th, it is
Think.
1,009 days today since my accident.
Interesting. You count them
1,000 and... Yes.
every day?
Yes, and the only reason why I count them by day is because as time has gone by in my recovery, and when was your accident? Oh, 3 months ago. Oh, 6 months. Oh, a year and a half ago. And I start realizing, I'm like, how do I sum up all of this?
Yeah.
Just with, no, it is 1,009 days I've been grinding, working, learning, growing, just feeling, just like
And then that also is like, imagine 2,000, imagine 3,000, where I'll be, where I'll be.
So I think so we live in a world now where everything's kind of artificial. Like it can be, oh yeah, year and a half, whatever. Like, no, we have to be more specific. And the reason why we're not more specific is because we don't want to be held accountable to such tiny, intricate details. And it's like, that's why I think more people need to just self-reflect, hang out with themselves, learn to be your own best friend, make yourself laugh, make yourself soup, buy yourself flowers, like,
Love it.
go pick some flowers. Like, just
Seriously.
like, do things for yourself that is unique, that you can bring somewhere else and find some other weirdo who likes to do the same thing that you thought was weird, and that's how you become just you.
Do you think that tracking the days helps you value them more?
Yes, it helps me value them, and it also
And then leverage them more for a brighter future.
Yes.
Well, you're
means
checking it
everything.
every day. If you live your life in years, you check one box a year.
I love that
So
you said that.
It's not enough check-in. It's
Right.
not enough
So
self-reflection.
Alan has this quote where he says, they say, what is it, an apple a day keeps the doctor away?
Yeah.
But most people are trying to cram 7 apples onto Sunday. What happens when you miss Sunday? You miss an entire week. That's the same thing here.
Yeah.
But that
gotta check in.
That reflects, and that idea exactly reflects like the world we're living in right now. It's like people, they have almost like these bursts of themselves, and those are those changing moments. I'm gonna start that tomorrow.
Yeah, but
I'm
you
gonna
didn't check in.
Yes.
Everyone's New Year's resolutions. It's day 20, everybody. How are they going?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want to spend all of 2018 sober. So alcohol was one of my biggest vices. Held me
That's
back
amazing,
tremendously.
yeah.
Held me back tremendously. Today is day 160 sober.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like
Proud of
that.
you, brother. Thank
but,
you.
But
Thank you.
you have to realize is people don't do those things. Like people just heard that right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, good for him.
Yeah.
But
then they don't do it.
because they don't trust themselves.
Right.
They are so
It is scary to market because then it's like when I do, if I
Oh,
do,
that's
screw
what you were
up,
saying
if I
when
do
you
fall
said-
off, yeah.
You put yourself out there like to stand up to every single one of the intricate details.
So
Okay.
here's
All right.
another
people
thing
don't
that I
want to
thi-
be held
Right.
accountable.
And
They
you're playing
don't.
against yourself because you know you're
this
going to
is
win.
why people don't
Exactly.
talk about their dreams too.
Yes, that's
Oh,
why
I
people,
used to not want to at all.
That's why people don't have faith. You need evidence. Everyone needs evidence. Oh yeah, Bella, you're gonna sprint someday. Well, give me a little bit.
What are you
of-
doing?
Give me a little
Yeah.
bit of evidence. Can you lift your foot up?
And
Can
then
you
people
run in
are
that
harder
race?
on you too. I
Yeah.
noticed that too because I have a vision board with some drastic things on
I
it.
bet.
People in my life are like, "What are you doing in bed? What are you doing in bed at 11 a.m.? Like, what are you doing on a
Yeah.
Wednesday?" Right? It's
Yeah.
me like just eating
No,
chips.
yeah,
Like, but that's the thing. Like,
dreams are not a thing to kids anymore because they don't have their own dreams. They have dreams. They have like topics of dreams. Do you want to be an Ellen? Do you want to be a Chloe? Do you want to be a
Oh,
you
I
know?
know.
And
Interesting.
it's like people
Blowing
just
my
are
mind.
finding these categories. Well, because that's how a robot's
so
designed.
I'm always about knowing your heroes because without role models, mentors, and heroes, I feel like you don't have a guidance system to help you get to something, but be uniquely you as well, simultaneously.
That's so interesting because I totally believe that too. However, to me, that sounds like not evidence, but I need something. I need a material thing
to prove that it's possible.
right.
Interesting.
The
But some people need
most-
that to get started.
I agree with that
See what I
because
mean? That's
Eric
why
LeGrand was
Yes.
one of
Well,
mine.
You did that for you, and you could be that for other people. You
Exactly.
are right now.
But what I want people to, what I just have realized, just the blessing of realizing it is like you are you. You have a designated purpose. Like you are literally designed because of a purpose. Like whatever that. So find it.
Right.
Do what you got to do to get there.
and you're gonna feel happy along the way.
Right.
Because when you're in alignment, I was talking to Kevin about this.
Yeah.
I told him last night I was talking to Jenny about coming here to do this podcast, and I said even though my car is all messed up and I don't know anything about that right now, I'm like I just feel in alignment.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of people. This is the most fascinating thing. Whenever I've felt most in alignment
Yeah.
in my inner self, it's when I get the most criticism from the outside. And it's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute.
But love always follows.
Oh, for
Love
sure.
always follows.
And then you hit this moment where last night I get that message about the husband
Right.
and, like
Yeah.
losing their son, and I'm like, that's proof that I needed to say the naysayers and stay true to my purpose because this happening, this interview today, plus that last night, it was one of those moments where I was like, I stayed true, and this
love
is
that.
proof that I stayed true. It's
I love that.
because before that it was faith. It was just keep
But-
doing what you know is
so
right.
Why
you know?
I get like so pumped with you saying that is God says in the Bible everywhere, just ask me for wisdom and signs and the universe will give it to you because I don't have a mouth. God's literally
Well,
like...
you have to search. You have to be
Yes,
searching for answers.
Because we could all be robots right now. We could all be robots and just be like, I believe in God. Yep, great. But God's like, hell no, I want to deserve your love.
I am a robot. I want you to know
in the
that.
gym, he's
Hey,
a
I got
machine.
titanium in here,
Oh, yeah,
so
you win.
technically, you know.
You win.
No, but my point is like, yeah, like those signs and symbols that happen, like you say, like a line.
Yeah.
I ask God every night, please send me I promise you, God, I am looking, I am smelling, I am seeing, I am feeling for anything. I promise you, I'm giving you the time. Please put them in front of me.
Interesting.
And he does every day. Like literally, you just saying that makes up for yesterday because yesterday didn't really. I don't know. It was just like just a therapy and everything. And
You felt off.
and now you saying
course.
that, it's like, oh, see, so like
I like that feeling of knowing you're in the right place.
Yeah.
And that you're
I
doing
feel
the
that right
thing.
now.
Yeah,
Right?
I
me
do too.
too.
From the second I walked into this room, I was like, this is going to be a great...
Yes.
Everything about this is going to
Yeah.
be perfect.
Yeah.
Not a single no worries. Not a single worry.
Yeah.
So maybe we could really look and give ourselves some credit. Like, hey, 3 good people in a room. Like
sure.
that's no first like
But that's why we're doing
That's the
it.
name of my next book.
3 good people in a room.
That's why
Trademarked.
that's why we're doing this because like I said, so many people I don't want to reach out to a model who just has her ass out all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Who has 4 million. I don't want
Right.
to sit down with you because I don't really care about you that much.
And what like it could be awkward because like what.
Oh,
do
it's gonna
you
be awkward
have
because
to-
I would be like, hey, so how's your ass? Like,
I
how's
get-
your ass
Yes,
doing?
exactly.
How's your ass?
Exactly.
But with
Oh,
you,
it's good. Saw it yesterday.
right? You
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
I know how this is gonna turn out.
Yeah.
Once I started talking to you, I knew exactly how this is gonna turn out. It's been an hour and 50 minutes.
Wow.
It's
It's been an
literally-
hour and 50?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When I saw
Hell
the
yeah.
hour and a half, I was like, well, I'm not even gonna say anything because
Yeah.
whatever.
You,
We'll let it
you
flow.
knew I'd start wrapping
But
it up.
but I think that there is whatever it is, whether it's God for you or whether it's I'm an energy universe or whatever it
Yeah.
is for
For
Alan,
me, it's
whatever
nature.
it is.
Nature
See,
more
I'm
than
both
anything.
of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
with
but
God.
we're together. We
Right.
lined up.
Yeah.
I saw your profile
Yeah.
however long ago, made a
Yeah.
mental note of it. Oh, wow. You know what? I want to do some podcasting. I'm going to be a
Timing,
podcaster.
yeah.
Oh, Alan, you want to? Okay, yeah, we're going to podcast
Yeah,
together.
exactly.
I sent Alan a screenshot of you.
He
Now
hits
we're
you up
here.
that day.
That's
you told us that
crazy.
had to be that day. 'cause
No,
you were checking
literally,
your DMs.
I never check my DMs.
Yeah, and
and
you're
that
like,
was
who's
like
this
the fir-
handsome blonde?
I know. I was like, who's this? No, but
I always
literally-
prospect with video for that reason.
By the way, good job because that was so unique. Like that's
Beautiful.
how you should reach out to people is
Thank
those
you.
videos.
Thank you
That
so
is-
much.
That's my
Thank you.
feedback because like you know me by now. I mean, I like the bullshit radar is
Right.
like,
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
like when
'Cause
I
the
saw
eyes,
that,
you can tell that
yes,
I'm genuine.
Yes, and just the name, yeah, that's good. You
And
guys
stud.
definitely.
Turn it on.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Who's this
Absolutely.
13-year-old girl?
Yeah.
messaging me? Oh, Alan Lazarus.
Right. Oh, he probably dyes his hair.
No, but for real,
He does.
Like, wait, do you dye your hair?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Wait, but it looks
Kevin,
so natural.
thank you. Kevin is losing it.
I love where this is going.
I would have never known.
Yeah, so in the winter I do a little bit fitness model.
Yeah,
you
I
know
was
it is what it is. It's a full-time job looking good.
I know. That's why I don't do it anymore.
Alan only does it
I
part-time,
honestly,
though.
the empathy I have for women who like take care of themselves and take pride in their appearance. I mean, seriously.
yeah, no,
It's a whole thing.
It's not easy.
It is. It's a lot
It's
of
not
work.
It's a lot of work. Yep.
But it has to be, or everybody would be
Or everybody
yoked.
would look. Yeah. So
Imagine if everybody looked like I did,
My
right?
gosh.
I actually,
right?
What a fun world to live in.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I want to be the only one who looks this way.
yeah.
I like that.
Well, you want to be uniquely
like
you.
that.
I am unique. I am a very unique person. I will not.
Unique New York. That's so hard to say.
Unique New York.
Say
Unique
it 3
New York.
times.
Unique New York. Unique New York.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I saw
What
it.
did you say? I'm going to start a band. You said something. Oh, proverbial banana. I want that name. Nobody else can take that. That's all.
Dude, he locked in on that.
Yep.
And of everything I said.
Everything. I'm good.
Yeah.
This podcast can end. Proverbial banana.
And he totally pretended to not remember. He was like, "What was that proverbial banana?"
Yeah, exactly. He pretended to not.
Yeah, he's like,
right
"What was
there.
it?"
You know?
Do you remember what I said about it?
No, no.
Nothing.
Yeah, no.
Proverbial banana.
Yeah, it was
That's
the
my
monkey
new
story.
band.
The
It's
monkey
gonna be the
story.
name of your
The monkey story.
clothing brand.
That
Yeah.
monkey story also if we want to like wrap things up, this story is really cool. It's about have you ever heard of the cricket in the jar?
No, let's do it.
So you put a cricket in a jar and you seal the jar.
Yeah.
Let it'll keep jumping, right? Boing, boing, boing. What? A few hours later, take the cover off.
It'll never even
He will
try.
never. No. He will, but he'll only jump to the level of.
Oh.
Ooh.
And that's what I want people to know is, human beings and animals, if we can learn anything from nature and animals and just universe, it's that we were given the privilege of reason. The reason why I believe we were given the privilege of reason is so that we weren't created robots. Like we're doing to robots. We're not giving robots a decision to figure out if there is dirt on their sensor.
Oh, yeah.
Because...
Well, reasoning is why. I think why is the most powerful question in the world. Because once you know why, you can change it. That's what being hyper-conscious is all about.
Animals can't ask why.
Yeah.
When that eclipse happened, I was in Missouri, in the middle of Missouri, and like
as we all are at some point.
I know, right? Yeah, weird. Life took me there.
With my 3 books.
Yeah, exactly. On tour. No, but like when that happened there, it was in totality. I have never been so like in love with our home, like Earth. Like I'm like the birds were flying around. They're like, oh my God, I didn't make dinner. And it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But because they have no reason, because they couldn't say, why is this happening? Their whole lives were interrupted that day because they thought it was nighttime.
Right.
And then 3 minutes later, it's nighttime again. It was so funny because the crickets start chirping like in the middle of the day.
Like in the middle of the day?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, sun's back out. It's literally like just a universal gradual dim light on. And like...
I think I finally know what you're trying to say.
Yes, we have...
the ability to choose.
And animals,
you're talking about the power of choice, and that animals don't have that.
Yes, and that's why I think it's unbelievable that we have this thing within us that nothing else on Earth does.
Right.
Yeah.
Animals don't have a conscience. They literally live by nature. They do. That's instinct. That's
and like
survival.
it's their job. It's a what am I trying to say? Like it's an elephant's job to do what it does. It's a lion's job to kill gazelle.
That's what I
always. That's their purpose.
That's what I convinced after my accident. I was so upset with identity. I lost 42 pounds. I'm like, I got no muscles. Like, what do I have? And I realized if I'm meant to be who I'm meant to be, you can't tell me a bunny is gonna waste her entire day trying to look like a lion. No, because that bunny has to survive and like do stuff.
Right.
Like I think human beings, we're the most destructive or the most like create. Yes. Yeah. Because that's what's the why. We get that choice. We get the choice. And then that's where my faith comes in, because it's like if I didn't have such a wonderful thing that's infinite, so I always know I'll keep going up. Yeah. If I didn't have that as my center, oh boy, I'd be scared.
We always talk about people getting off autopilot. Like, get off autopilot. Yeah. Tony Robbins has a great quote. My hero, he says, in your moments of decision is when your destiny is shaped. Wow. And I think that the post-traumatic growth that we referred to earlier with my car accident, your accident on third base or second base, I think that we made a different decision than most people would have made. Yeah. A lot of people would have given up. But we all have that power of decision. I have had moments in my life that were really, really, really painful. Yeah. And I just said, nope. Yep. This is not it. This is the fucking beginning, and I will not stop until I'm it. Like Kevin says it from an outside perspective. He says Alan just decides what he wants and he goes and does it. It's more in depth than that. No, but it is in a moment when I'm just like, this is it, and I know it in my heart and soul, and nothing will stop me from that.
And that's because you personally you've realized it's a choice. Like it's a choice. Like I've talked to so many people in wheelchairs. I'll tell you, one of the hardest things, and I'm about to get real personal, talk about not survivor's guilt, but something along those lines, talking to a group of people, some in wheelchairs, some in walkers, some in canes, like some in braces like me, but talking to a group and someone in a wheelchair and them being so down and so they have nothing, and me, like, I've gotten out of my wheelchair. I mean, I have to use it if I go to the mall or something, but like I'm like walking and the hardest, most challenging, just powerful thing is like locking eyes with someone in a chair, and I like instantly see myself in that chair, and I'm like, no, you have a choice. Like, you have a choice. Like, I don't know what that choice is for you, but I do know that in life there's good and bad, and there's a good choice.
There's always a better one.
Because the choice that you look like you're thinking right now doesn't look like it's the good one. Yeah. And like, that's like...
And you can tell by the way they're lit in their eyes if they're happy, if they're,
and
if they're
people who are
giving up.
People who choose to like just settle in anything in life, those are the people who are so close-minded, because the good input like listening to this podcast, those people they wouldn't
They wouldn't listen
Nope,
necessarily.
this is stupid. This is blah, blah. And it's because they know. It's like putting alcohol on an open wound. It's helping, but it's got to sting. It's got to fuzz. It's got to change
Great
shape.
analogy.
Yes, it is.
She's an
A
analogy
chemical
queen.
reaction
Loving it.
has to happen, and that's why the brain.
Because that's what catalyzes action,
Yes.
new action.
So when
yeah.
so when you're in this just bad funk, this just negative thinking, and then all of a sudden you have a chemical reaction change because of input,
Yes.
aka positivity.
Yeah.
That
Control what
chemical
comes in.
reaction, it's literally just they don't.
Well, too many people are afraid to feel. So one of everybody's biggest fear is to feel less than enough. In order to succeed, you have to have short bursts of feeling less than enough.
Oh,
Simple.
Yeah. It's what do you
Yeah.
do in those
Right.
moments?
Right.
though.
And you either nut up or you get out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have a theory that anyone who's truly happy today has at least hope of a brighter future and something that they're consciously working towards to create something that matters to them in the future. Like if tomorrow can never be better than today, then I think we're going to feel kind of dead inside.
Mm-hmm.
I think the people in the wheelchair that you're referring to, like
Yeah.
you figured out, you went through what they went through, maybe worse, maybe better. I don't know.
Right.
The
Well, a lot of
logistics.
it, I look at them and I'm just like, someone has it worse. But I want them to know that I know they have a choice to make.
Because
that.
you've been there.
Right. It's
That's
you
your
can
power.
right.
Yeah.
You
that's
can
something
say
I
it
could
to
never-
them.
I could never.
See, that's what I
Impact
mean by
someone,
my
right,
audience
like-
is so large, like so large, and that's my thing. It's just like I don't know what you think about during the day. I don't know what funny things you do to
You're
keep
proof
yourself
of a brighter
going.
future for them.
Exactly.
You're proof. You're living, breathing
Yeah.
proof.
You
To
have
get
a
them
sick-
started, and then they'll realize that they're
Yeah,
maybe
Right.
even
You have a
Yeah.
six pack.
Yeah.
People that want to be fit are going to follow
Right.
you.
Yeah, and that
You have
I'm
overcome this ridiculous obstacle, or
Right.
you're overcoming it every single day.
every single
Right.
day.
They will reach out to you and be like,
Right.
you know what? She did it. She can
Yeah.
do it. Why can't I do it?
right.
Even last
You
night
will
when
change
I'm-
millions of people's lives
You
for
will,
sure.
for sure.
can't
I'm so
wait.
happy to be in this room with someone who
yeah.
I already saw it, and again, your vision is obviously more important than my vision for you, of course. But like, I have a vision. I just had this moment where I was like, oh wow, like she's gonna be a famous speaker,
Yeah,
and
That's cool.
I've had that before, and it's rare. And it happened. Remember Ashley Zahabian, who I want to get onto this podcast? She was on the top
Wow.
25 most influential people
That's
in a magazine
amazing.
next to Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, all them.
Wow,
I
really?
said 2.5 years ago that she would be. I told Copeland, I'm like, she's going to the top, and I will see her there. I know it. I know. I don't know how I knew it,
yeah,
but I knew it, and I think it's my
believe it.
subconscious
yeah. No, it
that
totally,
knew, like, because it picks up on way more. It's more powerful.
When you
but the point is
exercise
I
especially.
had that moment here where I'm like, yeah, she's going to be.
That's
like,
cool.
like-
oh, thanks.
Like, and whether or not
Yeah.
you do is up to you. But like,
Oh, no, I totally
I
am.
see it.
But,
Totally
like-
see
Alan's
it.
like, don't hold me accountable. I think you're going to get there. Don't hold me accountable if you don't.
But I want her to like.
I
don't
become
want,
like a professional
wanna
knitter
impose-
or something. He's
I
like,
believe
"What?"
in you. I believe in
thank
you.
you.
I wholeheartedly believe in you.
And that's like the support that I literally that's going to drive me into this next chapter of my life, as you know, the
should
things we're
speak together,
talking about.
for
Yes, we
sure.
should.
We're going to go to the float tank is definitely what we're
okay,
gonna
that's
do.
first step.
You know what I can't
Then
wait
we're
to
gonna speak
do in the
together.
float tank? Meditate in the float tank.
That is all. I had an out-of-body experience.
I totally think that I'm going to trip ball.
Yeah,
We
you
need to
probably will.
explain to the audiences what a float tank
So-
is.
Oh,
just
yeah,
in
I
case.
know.
Just we're all like, what is this float
A
tank?
float
What are they-
tank is what do they call they
It's called Float Boston. Definitely would
but like what's the sensory deprivation tank. So the theory behind a float tank is when you lay in a pod that is pitch black, has no sound, you can put an eye patch on, you can put earplugs in.
so cool.
Oop, I just broke the mic. And
I
you
used to do.
are in 1,000, or I don't know how big the tank is, but it has 1,000 pounds of salt in it. So you float. Your body
It's
is
like the Dead Sea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your body is weightless, and the water is body
Anti-gravity,
temperature.
yeah.
You physically cannot feel anything. You're just
Floating.
No
I can't wait
senses.
to do that. I cannot wait to do that.
I'm curious to see what kind of experience you'll have.
Yeah,
because
me too.
You're very in your head already. You're
yes,
very
exactly.
familiar with
I
it.
feel like I'm gonna be like in outer space, man.
probably
That's
will.
gonna be nuts.
You probably will. I wonder what it'll have, like what effects it'll have on your body.
That's what I'm thinking. I bet I'm gonna be tingly for sure because I'm thinking just anti-gravity.
Right.
You know, like
It kind of like loosens you up.
yes, when I go in the tub, I like really try to work, and it's actually a good core exercise. But like I try to like work on just like trying to just float as best as I can without my head going under, because
Right.
my little neck muscles, especially up here, like I get tired chewing, but like I can do push-ups. Like,
Right.
you know, like that's how weird things are.
Right.
And like every time I'm trying to do that, all of a sudden I get tingly fingers, my feet get tingly, I'll start getting little spasms in my quad. Like it's weird because like think about how much time gravity isn't fighting
Right.
those things, where then finally they get a chance to just be who they are.
Right.
And not have to fight anything, and they're just like, "Hey, I'm here, tingly.
Right, yeah.
I'm twitching."
Just
like,
you don't even have to notice me.
yes,
Like
exactly.
I'm just gonna do what I want to do.
So cool! I cannot wait to do that.
What's your take? So, what's your take on like prescription medicine? Because that's
Not
like a
a fan.
huge thing right now.
Yes.
And you have, I'm sure you have been through excruciating amounts of pain
Yes.
on repeat.
yes.
And yeah.
I have. Yeah. Nope. I have not had one like opiate drug since my accident.
Is that like, was that a conscious thing that you said, I'm not doing that?
Yeah, because I definitely wasn't against it like before my accident. I mean, Division I college athlete, you want to get through a game,
Right.
you know, and unfortunately that's one thing I want to like change, like in the college world, is better substance abuse programs, like just better, like just let your athletes have a better experience
Right.
and not feel like they have to destroy themselves to get a playing spot. But yeah, no, I just want people to know that medicine is so temporary in a lot of aspects, except for like I mean, literally medicine, technology, doctors like saved me. So
Right.
like I'm definitely not against it. I mean, morphine when you're in that much pain, hell yeah.
I can imagine.
For instance, gabapentin, like a nerve pain medication. I still am prescribed them. I will take them on very rare occasions because I'm never really in the cold in New England. Like if I'm in warm weather, I don't need it. Spasms, I don't need the medication like Flexerol or anything for it because I'm just letting it do its thing. I want to experience my body through all its stages to as much as I can tolerate, so
Right.
that when I'm experiencing my body and it's, you know, good feeling state, it feels like extra good.
Yeah,
like it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
taking off the ankle weights.
Yeah.
It's like oh my gosh, like yeah, that's where I stand on prescription.
I had a headache the other day and somebody was like, you should take something. And I had this like giant mental,
Yeah.
I went down this tunnel. I was like, all right, so medicine is basically whatever you're distracting yourself
Yes.
with, right?
Yes.
I might have a headache that might be because I haven't had enough water.
Exactly.
And here I am popping Advil,
Yep.
and I'll never drink enough water again.
Such a good point.
We're talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
prescription medication and
It's true. It's you want to be experiencing life as much as you can. Like if you need, you know, obviously something bad happens or, you know, cancer or like chronic illnesses, but yes, of course. However, people are so blinded by more natural ways. I am pro cannabis
Oh, for
till
sure.
the day I die.
for sure.
I mean, holy moly, marijuana is the most incredible plant I have ever gotten to know. Like, because Massachusetts, obviously, we can grow. This summer, I just grew one plant, and I didn't even mean to do it. I literally did like a fake basketball dribble because I found a seed in one of my bags, and I was like pissed. And I was like, YOLO, threw it in our garden in May, like threw it.
No kidding. And it grew.
And it was a female, like one in like an 80-something chance that it's gonna actually produce buds. Anyways, I just
Well, I
like,
know what we're doing after that.
I know,
Right.
right?
No.
No, but it's amazing, like for recovery, for PTSD.
Yeah.
For, oh my gosh.
As
for-
long as you use it correctly, that's
yes,
the thing.
For
It's a
spasms,
tool.
It's a
for-
tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Alan and I have like.
Some
I have
peop- I think-
occasionally gotten off on a Sunday and just
Well, it's
but there's also good
Done nothing.
But relaxed days,
for sure.
those are good. Too much of anything is bad.
yes,
that's
that's what we're
something that-
saying.
yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Enough
People-
apples a day,
Too
you
much
die.
spinach will
Yeah.
have you so constipated.
For sure.
Trust me, been there. Yeah.
Been there.
But like that's what people. But our
Prep
world
life.
we live in now, there's no control. Portion control, nope. Control the alcohol, nope. Like
Yeah.
it's just people so badly don't want to experience life raw for whatever reason.
That's one of the biggest takeaways for sobriety for me. I always would tell people this, and I don't think they really. I would tell my friends this. I'd be like, 2 weeks into no drinking alcohol, I would just feel more like me. And then a month in, it would be even more. I'd be sharp as a tack.
Yep.
I just feel like, and then 2 months in, I still notice a difference.
Yeah.
Now I'm 160 days in, and I'm just like at my fucking
Right.
best.
Pri-
And
yeah.
it's next level. Like, if people knew, I always say people don't do good things long enough to see the benefits, so they don't lock in on it.
That's why people don't take vitamins. They take the medicine because it's quick.
Yeah.
But
the
little do
vitamins
they
take longer.
know.
Yeah.
Oh my! It takes
The good
6
things-
weeks. 6 weeks it takes your body to process a vitamin.
I use this analogy for life because I think it resonates most with people. When you go out drinking with your friends, the rewards of drinking and having laughs come quick. In this universe, don't ask me why, but rewards come quickly for negative things, typically. If you wait until the next morning and you're the only one who feels great and you're at the gym, like, I'm so glad I didn't drink last night. It took longer to get there, but trust me, it's more worth it. The most rewarding things in life always are after more time. They have more lag time. But when you know that and you stick with it long enough, like the gym, for example, if you do it for a week and then quit, you're not going to ever see the benefit of feeling amazing. But if you do it for 2-3 months, you'll lock in and you'll never go back.
I love that because I read something a while ago that said you don't know a person until you've known them for 6 to 8 months. It's just like natural. It's usually when all the breakups happen. It's usually when fights happen. It's usually when you get in your first fight with your new roommate. Like 6 to 8 months is the magic thing. And I was really like meditating on that the other day, and I was like, a new diet or a New Year's resolution. Technically, you're changing yourself, so you need 6 to 8 months
To lock it in?
Yeah. So like that, people can't set those long goals though anymore because everything has to be
so
impulsive.
quick,
Mistakes have to be impulsive. In anything that's good, people just will take away all the work you did behind the scenes and just expect. I used to tell people before my accident, do you think I just came out of the womb with abs?
Right.
Like,
Little do they know you're doing 55 push-ups before every shower.
and they're, good genetics, of course, and all of that, but holy crap, don't take anything away from me.
I always say there's always more than meets the eye. I was telling Kevin the best part about this podcast is we get to go and pull back the curtain on what it really takes.
Yes.
Right.
To be this amazing human.
Yeah.
And that's been such a good time.
It has been a good time. I just hope that it's not too confusing.
I
Really,
hope
in summary, be
Yeah,
yourself.
we're not gonna be able to use any of this.
No, I think
You're just gonna take the part of him talking about the monkeys.
Yeah.
what the proverbial banana.
Kevin Palmieri and the proverbial banana. Is there anything you want to plug before we go?
No, just definitely keep a lookout for some books and some cool clothes.
So I do have one more question I want to ask you.
There we go.
And it's what you consider the 3 most important habits that you have, and it could be like I notice you have a gratitude ritual, meditation.
Yes.
Very few people have a ritual or a habit. People don't like the word
Yeah.
ritual, but a habit
Yeah.
where they sit down. For me, it's journaling. It's in the morning. I'll do either journaling. I have a 5-second journal. Shout out to Mel Robbins. I'll also do foam rolling, yoga, meditation, all that kind of stuff. I also have some things. Yeah. So you obviously have a very positive outlook on life. That is not by accident, and I know it. Other people just think, oh, she's just optimistic. No. She was not born that way. It is not a trait. It is not genetic. It is a fucking habit.
Yep.
What do you do to...
The most optimistic people I know have gone through the darkest, most scariest times. I would say definitely meditation, and I mean meditation in any way you want.
Yeah,
it can be.
I just say close your eyes, breathe, listen to a certain song.
I do it, and it just depends on
because meditation's overwhelming for people.
Right,
yeah.
And it really all you have to do is just let yourself think, accept every thought that comes by, and then move on to the next. It's like a highlight reel. You just got to accept it. That's all meditation is. People think meditation is no thoughts at all.
No, it's just observing your thoughts.
Yeah,
it's just being like, oh, interesting.
And then all of a sudden you're like, next thing you know, you're trying to find the origin of like your last name, and I'm like, what does PIC mean? Whoa, what does ARD mean? Whoa, like discipline. Like what does DISC mean? Oh, what
and
is
then
like
the dust settles.
Yeah,
and then you come from a place of like yourself.
Yeah, it's like
mind blown
it's now. Literally meditation to me is like exercise. You gotta tear the muscle to build, and it's like meditation. You have to literally mind blow your own mind.
Yeah.
To be able to get back there.
And you're training your focus too. Like everyone's so stimulated. You've learned how to personally, because you say you had struggled with ADHD when you were so physical.
Yes.
You were constantly doing all these things.
Yeah.
Now you're able to calm.
Stillness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
stillness.
looks, and it's amazing how like I honestly look at these walls right as we're talking, and they're like a what, yellowish whitish color. Ish, right?
This is the first time Kevin or I have noticed
Yeah,
those
I know,
walls.
right?
Yeah, there's walls.
Where
No,
are
yeah,
they?
they're yellowish.
Yeah, and like I look at it, and some people would be like, boring. No, I see like since it's white and blank, like I just see myself finger painting in so many different colors, just things and pictures, and like draw like that window over there. Like
Kevin's
did-
reaction is
You
priceless
did take
right now.
You took an edible. You did take an edible.
No, I haven't today. That's the sad part.
So
No, but yeah.
I think
meditation-
the way you think's amazing.
It's
Okay,
amazing.
good. I'll
Yeah.
take
no,
it.
No,
his
for sure.
reaction. You're blowing his
Yeah,
mind.
no, you're blowing
I
my
love
mind.
it. So
What's
three
going on here?
habits that people can use to be more of themselves. You've found a way through this unbelievable challenge that
Yes.
most of us could never even fathom
Yeah.
to be a better you.
Yes.
That to me is like leading by example
For sure.
in all the ways. So you're a huge inspiration to me
Well,
for
thank
sure.
you. I appreciate that.
So one is meditation.
Meditation.
What's two more habits that people can try? I just want to give
Stretching.
Okay, stretching.
I also like doing T-spine on a foam roller. Just align it with your spine and like let like the base of your head just be at the end of it. Prefer a long.
So it's vertical? The foam
Yep,
roll is
so
vertical?
it's vertical.
I did that in candlelight yoga last night
Really?
with a blanket. We folded
It's
it up.
yes.
And it
oh,
was
yeah,
like, oh,
right-
whoa,
yes.
this is
I
this
do
is
that.
legit.
I do that every night. Every night.
I love pulling back the curtain.
Yes.
Right.
She's so optimistic. It's a habit.
Yes.
It's a habit. It's a
It
trained
is.
habit.
And what's so cool about it is like
And I knew it.
people walk around all day, like achy
Yeah.
and this or headache. That could just be because your hamstring didn't stretch enough.
Right.
Like
Yep.
people don't
But
realize.
here I am hammering Advil, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, it'll go away.
Yeah.
And then my hamstring snaps.
Wait
Yeah.
till tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. Like stretching people, like literally from what, even if you're not, if you're, say 23 years old right now, like fresh out of college, you're going to be a history teacher. This is just a random scenario I'm thinking of. Like even people like whose fitness isn't really their life. You remember stretching when you were little or like
Yeah.
stretching at like camps or whatever. Just stretch.
Feels good.
Feel that, yes, and breathe with it. That's another thing. And I'd say the third thing is just manifesting everything. Like just
Ooh, explain that.
everything. Like
Explain that.
like I say, like all right, so like right now, like I'm trying to learn like a lot of like Spanish, Italian, Latin, French. Like
Oh.
just
No worries.
yeah.
Yeah. Either way.
Duolingo, fantastic app. It's
Oh,
free.
Duolingo.
Oh, yeah, you said that. I tried that for about 1 week and
Yeah.
then I quit.
6 to 8
And then I
months.
quit.
Yeah,
know?
but yes, and it's the third thing is definitely a habit of mine that I think I probably do too much is just manifesting everything. So just break things down, like the word discipline. It's so cool. Like discipline literally means like follow your teacher, pupil. Like
Interesting.
yeah, and like that's why, or like I could go on forever. Like repent. Like in the Bible, I'm like, what the heck does repent mean? Re means to go back.
Yeah.
Pent means the high place. So all God's saying is just remember to repent. Just go back to the high place. Just
Interesting.
meditate. Just
Breaking down words is awesome.
yes, because it
I
makes
love
you
what we're doing right
understand
now.
everything. But the problem
I
is
tried to do the mimetics thing earlier, and you guys were like not having
No.
it.
no,
Nope.
that's why I got pumped with you. I was like, yes, manifesting. Like I mean, I do that to everything, and it's so innocent because
I have a quote you're gonna love.
yes, hit me with it.
I always say curiosity may have killed the cat, but it made the man. And what I mean
Whoa.
by that is mankind, men and women.
Right.
So be curious.
Yes.
I want to get people amped for learning. When you learn new shit, you become so much better, and you get excited about it, and then you want to keep doing it.
Learning new stuff is literally the first step into getting the person out there who needs to be told what to do or led. That's just who I am. I need direction, and no, you don't. You
No,
need
you
to
don't.
learn something new.
Yeah. Be a good student, not a follower.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
I love it.
Beautiful, beautiful thing.
What a beautiful thing this was.
Yeah.
This
This
was
is a
so
beautiful
great.
thing. Yeah.
It's such a beautiful
Such
day
a beautiful
out
day
too.
out. It's 55 degrees.
See,
in the
like I
middle of-
wish I could just like plot myself in the middle of those trees right now and just
I will
sniff.
carry you. You want to get on my
I
back? I will carry you
honestly-
over the tree.
yeah.
I swear to God.
I'm
I
like,
will.
oh no, I can fly. Don't you know I have a cape?
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can get up there for
Yeah.
sure.
But you can wear a cape too.
I
Both
don't,
fly.
no, I don't want a cape. I'm a robot. Robots don't wear capes.
true. Robots wheel.
This has been a pleasure.
This has been a pleasure.
Seriously, you guys are
My brain
Amazing. You are
honestly hurts.
amazing.
Yeah, no, like this
He needs
is
an Advil.
I need an Advil.
or an edible.
Edible.
No, but for real, like this is the type of exercise for the mind that helps you sleep good at night.
Ooh, exercise for the mind.
Yeah, so that's
People
what I
are so
learned.
focused on the body. I should
That's
start
what
saying
I
that.
learned. That's my whole thing.
Yeah.
I was always so focused on
On
the body,
exercising the body. 55 push-ups before the shower.
Yes.
Now you meditate in the shower, I bet.
Yes.
You think.
Yes.
I always say that I train my mind far more than the body, but people kind of lose me there.
Yeah.
Like, I
No,
literally, Steve Jobs said, I want to create a bicycle for the mind. That was the Mac.
Whoa. That's
Like, we need to train our minds.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, by the way, every single day has mind training.
really.
Yes.
That's-
That's why
Yeah.
We have
he's the
so
best
many
at what he
ways
does.
to do it too.
Oh, yeah.
Your cell phone has
Like, listen
you
to our
said,
podcast.
You have Duolingo or whatever it is.
Or listen to our podcast.
Or listen to our podcast. Hashtag
Can I touch on one more
podcast.
thing?
Yeah,
before we
sure,
go?
sure. Yeah, no,
Please, I'm
I don't
sorry.
have
I
anything to
need
do
just
this
keep-
week. Don't
Yeah. So Duolingo, I want to learn more languages. So if you study successful people who achieved their dreams, they almost always have like multiple languages.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wondered, like, almost everyone, not everyone, okay, a lot of people speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that people who learn multiple languages, even though they don't use them that often, are always successful in chasing their dreams? I figured out why. Words are what we use to verbalize in our mind. When you are a better writer, you think better. That's why
Yes.
writing is such a great
Right.
thing for the mind. That's exercising the mind. When you know different labels, so picture that chair. You know it now in 4, 5, 6 languages.
Right.
You
Puerta.
literally can
La puerta.
you can literally
good.
nice. You can literally see the world from 5 different
I
perspectives.
get you. That's why.
And-
That's why I'm so into manifesting because I
The
think
more you
back
learn
to. I'm a curious person. I'm the first person to admit I read the Bible, the Old Testament, a language that is technically extinct.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hold up, there's more to this. And then you figure out that, oh my gosh, Hebrew is the only language, and there's 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. And if that's the beginning, and we have 22 sets of chromosomes, that then we just get one sex cell from each. Okay, that explains something. Then we could hop into the New Testament, and the Greeks come in, and all the Greeks start worshiping the sun. And then God is like, no, don't worship the sun. The sun's not, okay, I got to send Jesus down. Sends Jesus down. He's like, hey, God, it's me, God. Like, I'm the one. Oh, my gosh, so excited. I'm going to die. And 3 days later, I'm going to rise. And he's saying I'm the Alpha and Omega. And I'm like, Greek. Okay, New Testament, it was all Greek. Okay. Oh,
Digging deep here with
You
the
might
history.
not come
Listen,
back from the
listen.
float tank. You might stay there forever.
The Greek alphabet, listen, the Greek alphabet has 24 letters in it. The first is Alpha. The last is Omega. So Jesus was literally going around saying, I am God, I created your language, and to prove to you that I did, I'm the Alpha and the Omega. But the Greeks
Interesting.
got selfish. That's where we are now, in a selfish world, saying, that's our culture, that's us. And God's like, no, do your thing, do your thing, do your thing.
Were
But
you always this curious about everything?
I didn't have time
because
to,
I feel
I
like
was too
people aren't
busy
that
on my
curious
body. I was
anymore.
too busy spending time physically wasting stuff.
Interesting.
And then I have no other choice but to have to sit for like a long time, lay and
If you
and yeah.
If you had one strength that you think has helped shape you into who you are today, what would it be? For me, I always say it's pattern recognition. Like you said 2 things earlier, and I was like, I picked out that you were listening to Tim Ferriss.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah,
immediately. Yeah.
That is weird.
Pattern
yeah.
recognition. For me, I'm
That's
an engineer,
yeah,
electrical
yeah.
computer engineer.
Strength.
I just see the data, and I'm like, there's an anomaly. I want to know
My
about it, and I go
strength?
learn. What's your strength?
Spiritual maturity. Like honestly, there's such a difference between being spiritual and then being mature. And I've realized that what makes it mature is to not just be spiritual and loving and curious when times are good, but to be doubly thankful and loving and happy when times are awful. That is the definition of spiritual
You need
maturity.
to listen to some Big Sean. You need to listen to some Big Sean.
Yeah, I'm gonna send her a lot of books too.
Yeah,
We
I'm
both
gonna send
have
you.
things
I'll
to
just send you
your
rap
way.
songs, hood rap songs. Don't worry. About it. That's what I bring to this.
Hashtag
I
the
like Big
proverbial
Sean.
Big
banana.
Sean's my man.
The
Proverbial banana.
So yeah, definitely spiritual maturity.
I love it. I can see that.
Yeah.
I consider you a spiritual master. You've been
Oh,
through some
oh,
things
yeah.
that most people can't even fathom. Some people, I talked about this in the preamble, they're upset that they got, the wrong frap on their
Right, yeah.
$6 Starbucks coffee. Like, let's have some real problems.
Yeah.
Whatever is in your life right now, if you're going through a lot, just try to look for the good. I'm not trying to lessen any challenges you're going
Right.
through, but just look for what's good
It's true.
because that's what's going to pull you
Be
through.
grateful.
Be
Why
grateful.
Why be miserable in an already miserable situation? It's like if there's a gas leak in your car, you're not going to continue to keep pouring gas in it, knowing it's just going to fall out. Like, do something, find some tape, like just like quickly at least to fix it until you can find some metal and some fire to just weld a little spot.
Don't let your
like,
circumstances control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are infinite ways to go about life every day. So
to me, you've mastered the internal world.
Yes.
That's impressive as hell to me.
Yeah.
I think that's rare as hell.
Especially so young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
and that's
right?
why I
22.
feel like God's just using me for like such bigger reasons than I can even comprehend, because like who I am my whole life, I've always been like, no. Did you try the new McChicken? Like, I'd always be like, no, it's unreal. And like, I get it from my mother when it comes to describing, and literally my mom will tell me a story that's an hour long.
Yeah.
And it should have took 2 minutes, but she had to describe the guy's green sweater. And like, but like, that's why I feel with this accident. I'm like, no, guys, you don't get it. I understand what it feels like to have your calves just like so pumped and locked up, but you know they're good for game day. You're not going to have any cramps. You're not going to, it's like that type of good feeling before a game. Like, I get that. And I don't have it anymore, but I want to let you know, like, I haven't forgot it. Yeah. Although I haven't felt it in 1,009 days, but like, I don't think I will ever forget that. And I want people to know that, and like just struggle with like substances like that too. Like, I want people to know, like, been there, like, it's okay, but we can, I get it. And let me tell
that's
you,
so powerful because you've been there.
Exactly.
And you can prove it with your
just who I am.
Empathy. Like, you can put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah. And
because of your difficult challenges, oh, that's so
talked
powerful.
About the bullshit radar, and more people have it than you think. Even the worst, most bullshit people themselves, they're the best at detecting that. And I think that since I'm so confident in who I am and just like love life for real, people are like, wow, I don't see any bullshit, so I guess I have to listen. Like, instead of
it's like a subconscious thing. Yeah, it's huge.
Good stuff.
Love it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Ladies and gents, thank you very much for sitting down with us. Bella, it has been absolutely incredible. Alan, incredible.
Yeah, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
I look very much forward to. I consider you an ally in the mission.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And I look forward to speaking with you.
I look forward to seeing you grow and continue to grow.
Yeah, I look forward to
seeing
you on your journey. I think it's going to be inspiring as hell.
We will do this again for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
After this ends and you guys are gone, give us some privacy. I'm going to try to do some push-ups on that wall.
Yeah, we're all going to do it.
We're going to set up.
We're going to have a flex off.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'll be on my Snapchat.
We're going to we got to set up a
float tank
time where we can do the float tank for
float tank.
No, yeah.
And I recommend everyone does that as well.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
But we will Snapchat the shit out of that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. We're going to sign off. 3, 2, 1.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday.